And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you are listening to, you are watching ABL Live. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me, and I definitely appreciate you for that. We got a good show for you tonight. There's a whole lot of stuff going on, but first and foremost, the debate in New Hampshire. Man, oh man, the field is getting thinner and thinner. Pocahontas is on her last hurrah, the last bike ride in the Oklahomas, Trail of Tears, whatever you want to call it. It's about to come to an end pretty soon here because it doesn't look too good for her. Joe Biden looks even worse. I'm not sure how he's able to look worse, but he does. He's out there stuttering and stammering, doesn't know what day it is, doesn't know really where he's at, saying things that don't make any sense. And then I think he's kind of aware of what's going on because he'll stop himself in the middle of a sentence and then change the subject. I think he knows what's going on. Maybe what he doesn't realize is that his campaign is over as well. Who's going to be the standout from the New Hampshire primary? That'll be Tuesday, February 11th, 2020. Is it going to be Buttigieg, Buttigieg, whatever you want to call him? Is it going to be Comrade Bernie with the home field advantage? Andrew Yang is also a comrade, but we'll get to that in a minute. We'll talk about the debate. We'll talk about Gayle King. We'll talk about a lot more things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And I thank y'all for being here. I most certainly appreciate you. You could be anywhere, but you're right here with me. And for that, I can't thank you enough. Please like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And if you're listening on an audio streaming platform, please like it over there, share it over there, whatever it is. An announcement for everybody watching. If you want to listen to this particular show in an audio only format, I have a link in the description box to Anchor FM. Right now, the podcast is available on, I think, Anchor and Spotify at least, but there's going to be more. It's going to be on iTunes. It's going to be on Stitcher. I got it going through Anchor, and they're just trying to get it distributed to where it's supposed to go. But as of right now, there's a link in the box for Anchor, and on that Anchor link is also on Spotify, so you can subscribe to the podcast over there. And what I'm going to do is, this show you're listening to right now, the Saturday show, that'll be uploaded to the audio streaming platform on Monday morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. That's pretty much how I'm going to do it. And then the Wednesday show will be uploaded 8 on Friday morning. So the show that you're listening to right now will be the same time, same place on my YouTube channel, but on the audio only version of it, that'll be Monday for the Saturday show and Friday for the Wednesday show. So again, if you want to listen to this podcast on an audio streaming platform, there's a link in the description box. And if you're listening to this right now on an audio streaming platform, thank you for being here. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Now, the New Hampshire debate, man, oh man, you're talking about a dumpster fire. I mean, this whole process of the Democrats, the primary, the candidates running, all the stuff that's going on has been a dumpster fire in itself. I did not see anybody on stage that will pose Trump a threat at all. I mean, nobody. I think even Democrats, after the debate and the last one before this one in New Hampshire, Democrats were on TV talking about they don't have a chance, they can't do it. I even saw Al Sharpton go on TV and say they can't do it. They can't succeed against Trump. So even MS-13NBC, MSDNC, they all said that nobody can really beat Trump on the Democratic side. Okay, so it ain't just me being conservative, being biased. This is just what they think. This is what they believe because this is what they see. They know what's going on here with the Democratic Party. And then last night we watched the Democratic debate and it was just more of the same, doubling down on it. You understand what I'm saying? Pocahontas didn't really talk too much. And at one point, she was seen as a leading candidate. I'm not sure how she'd be seen that way anymore. She's not done anything recently to propel herself to a higher level. So why would she be seen as one of the leading candidates? To me, it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, Pocahontas was right there in a particular point. And then you had, who else? Bernie Sanders. Bernie will do well in New Hampshire because of the Vermont connection. He's a senator in Vermont, neighboring state. He's well known and liked up there. At least from what I know. If I'm wrong, you guys up there in that particular area of the world, please let me know. But he'll do okay up there. And Buttigieg, he may do okay over there as well, because you got a lot of white northern liberals, and they're kind of open to Edge and what he's about. You know, this whole thing about LGBT. A lot of them people up there, they look at voting for Buttigieg the same as they would look at voting for Barack Obama. In my humble opinion, he's a minority, and although he's just a standard white male, whose redeeming quality to me is that he was in the military. If you did that, then God bless you. Okay, I don't know what he was doing in the military. If he was just driving cars, I don't know what he was doing, but he was in the military, so he gets my respect just for that reason. But up there in New Hampshire and the other liberal parts of the world, he may be seen as a minority because he has the whole gay thing going on. But when you come into actual minorities in the country, he's not seen the same way. So that's why the race matters, because they look at it like that. The people that are going to vote for him are going to vote for him up there largely in part because he has the gay marriage going on. And he's kind of young and kind of fresh, but I think a lot of it is based on the gay marriage. Now, some people don't even know he's gay. Some people don't know he's gay, don't know much about him, really, but people may look at him as a minority because he's gay and married to a man. Now, in South Carolina, they're going to be there pretty soon as well. That's not really going to be the same way. He's not going to be seen as some kind of minority figure or hero or anything like that in South Carolina. He'll be seen as a regular guy that's married to a dude. And black folks, we come from a conservative background that's kind of like steadily been chipped away over the years, okay? But we still have a lot of the conservative stuff in us. And we're not quite at the point where we're totally accepting of gay marriage, okay? We're just not quite there yet. This is why in California, it was a referendum or something on gay marriage. It was a vote on gay marriage, and black folks voted against it in California on the left coast. So think about South Carolina. You're in the South, Bible Belt, all this, that, and the third. You think that that's going to be a popular thing down there, gay marriage? I don't know about that. And it's going to be interesting to see the news anchors try to figure out how to really deal with this. He's done good in Iowa. He'll do good in New Hampshire, probably right behind Bernie up there. So once he plummets down to like fifth or sixth in South Carolina, what's going to be the explanation? I was told that the black vote is 2/3 of the Democratic primary in South Carolina. So he's going to perform very badly. It's going to be interesting to see how he handles that. But moving right along, let's talk about Yang Gang. I did not like Yang Gang from the beginning. I don't know why he has support from anybody on the right, that is. On the left, I understand it's free money. I get it. But anybody that's on the right, I don't understand why he's looked at as some kind of way different or unique. He's the same thing as Bernie Sanders, just a younger and fresher face and Asian. That's it. That's the only thing. Bernie's like, okay, the government would do everything. Oh, speaking about Bernie right quick, I can't just bypass this. The craziest part of the debate, in my humble opinion, is when Bernie Sanders said he would have the U.S. government fund elections. What kind of sense does that make? The government's going to fund it? Okay, so let me get this straight. The government that I vote for and that I pay for will also fund the elections. How does that make any sense? What are you actually going to be funding? Are you going to be funding attack pieces on the other person? Like, that's just way too close for comfort. Okay, that's just, I don't like that at all. Not in the least bit. Let private monies fund the election. Okay, let me choose who I want to support. If I want to donate money, like I've given money to the RNC. Okay, I have hats, like the hats back here, those go to Trump's campaign, the RNC or whatever it is. It goes to the actual campaign, right? I've given money to the RNC, to Trump's campaign. I want to be able to donate directly to who I want to be able to succeed. Okay, I want to be able to see a big number that says Donald Trump raised like $24 million in a day, which I think somebody said on stage. I want to be able to see that, right? And I want that actually to mean something. I want my money to go to who I want. I'm not going to only support you in the voting booth. I'm going to support you financially. I'm going to support you with my voice, being able to campaign for you in my own way. I'm going to support you 100% because I want you to work for me. That's kind of how this goes. I don't want the government to be running the whole situation to where I don't have much of a say. I just got to pick from whoever they pick, because if the government runs it, the government will control it totally. I don't like that at all. That is called communism at the end of the day. It's what they do in China. Okay, the government takes care of their elections. There's no need to have any citizens be worried about trying to donate. And the government takes care of everything. You don't even got to worry about it. Matter of fact, don't even worry about voting. How about that? We'll take care of that too. We'll just appoint whoever is going to be the best person to lead the country. That's how that works. It's a single party system. People cry about a two-party system. How about a single party system? This is the kind of thing that I'm thinking about when a guy like Bernie Sanders says we're going to have single payer this, single payer that. So you don't want to have any kind of private health insurers. Okay, then you say capitalism is bad. We got to crack down on carbon and all this and that. So how are you going to be able to accomplish these goals? You're going to have like Cuba where you can't even. I don't like it. I think that I like freedom. And I don't think that's what Bernie Sanders offers, but I digress. Moving right along to Andrew Yang, I don't like him because he's also a communist. He said something along the lines of the idea of capitalism and socialism, that the construct behind it is like old or it's outdated. It's like, sir, excuse me. Let's just pump the brakes, just, time out, flag on the play. The concept of capitalism is what has gotten us all here in the United States to begin with. This is why we have the best country on earth. It's why we're so innovative and creative. It's because of capitalism. Without it, where would we be? We'd be, making big rocks into little rocks and some gulag somewhere, not innovating, not creating, not doing anything. When the government has control, they only know how to manage what they already have in front of them. They don't know how to innovate, how to make anything better, how to streamline operations. They don't have any idea how to do that because their whole job is just to do a task. It's like a cog in the machine. That's not how capitalism works. Capitalism inspires progression, it inspires advancement, it inspires innovation because there's competition. So let's say there's a cell phone, right? You got a cell phone. Back in the day, you had the big brick phone, and that was pretty much all you had. Now, somebody back then may have said, hey, that's enough right there. It's a mobile device. You don't have to be tethered to your home appliance with a cord on the wall. You have a phone. You could talk. That's enough, right? That's all we need. That's advanced. So if the government at that point takes over, why would they actually innovate and make this? This right here has changed lives. This right here is like gotten people out of jail and got them home to become very successful. It's made homeless people into people that have homes and make plenty of money. So why would they innovate? There's no reason to. But you have competition. Okay, here's a phone producer. There's a phone producer. Okay, mine's going to be better than yours. We're going to have better phones. We're going to get better and better and better through competition to the point where you have some of the best technology you've ever seen in your life come about every 3 months, 6 months or less. That's how these things work. Same thing with the personal computer. At one point, a PC, I don't know if you probably couldn't even call it that at that point. It was like the size of a bedroom or bigger, like a warehouse. Now you have laptops. Really, this is a computer right here. This has much more power than the old PC that was big as a barn was back in the 60s and 70s. You understand what I'm saying? And I can build my own PC. I can do so much with it. I got flat screen TVs. I got HD cameras, all this and that at my fingertips. That's very affordable. And at one point, that was not the case. This is what Bernie Sanders wants to eliminate through communism. That's why it doesn't work, because it does not create innovation. So when things go bad, when things don't go right, when there's natural disasters or whatever, you're not prepared because you don't have any kind of innovation that was prepared for that moment. So yeah, Bernie Sanders, I'm not a big fan of. Amy Klobuchar, people said that she won. It's a case on it. It's a thin case. Yeah, it's a little thin case. People say that Amy Klobuchar won, but I don't remember anything she said. I'm watching the whole debate. You guys were there. I'm watching the whole debate, but I don't recall anything that she said. Not one thing. Nothing. So I'm not sure how she won. Maybe there's a thing, maybe something I missed. I was kind of keyed in on some of the more hot takes. So I don't know. But she didn't say anything that would make me believe that she won. But maybe that's why she won, because she was not really a standout and was able to give, I guess, decent answers. I don't know. But they're saying that she won. Pocahontas didn't really say much. Tom Steyer was a nut. Just that whole fake football movie thing. We're going to go out there winning for the, I'm like, man, it was crazy. So, like I said, I think I might have said it on Twitter, also in the video, the winner was Trump. Ain't no doubt about it. He can just pretty much sit at the house, play games on his phone, and chill, watching the debate and win. So, yeah. And the whole thing about the black community, that was wearing me out as well. Their whole thing was welfare, welfare, welfare. Oh, also about Andrew Yang, which is part of the reason why I don't like him. His whole UBI thing ain't no more than just restructured welfare. Rather than giving people the WIC, TANF, SNAP benefits, he would give people cash. And if you already get those benefits, you're not going to get the UBI. Or if your benefits are the equivalent to a certain amount of money that's below UBI, you get the difference in UBI. So let's say, for example, you're getting $800 a month in SNAP and that's it, no WIC or TANF, you would get $200 in UBI. If it's not welfare, then why would it not stack on top of welfare? Why would it not be additional money and you still be able to keep welfare? It's because it is welfare by a different name. Just cash only. And what that does, it makes the welfare money, because that's what it is, easier to abuse. And welfare fraud and abuse and all that kind of good stuff is a very, really big problem in the United States, which is why you got kids growing up hungry, no food. They're getting the welfare benefits, but they're getting sold for drugs. People like Andrew Yang don't understand Americans really and the different regions and how people are living and what money that's given to somebody for free will actually do. Maybe he does understand it and doesn't really care, and he's just worried about trying to push this whole gimmick on people. And then the whole thing about clean injection sites. A question to everybody in the room or listening on an audio streaming platform. Again, link for that's in the box. A question for everybody in the room. Do you want to live next to a quote unquote clean injection site or no? That's all I want to know. I know I don't want to live next to there. Somebody shooting heroin, smoking meth, smoking crack. I don't want to. I've lived in a neighborhood where drugs are everywhere, and you don't want to live there. Trust me, it's just not a good place to live. People would say, "Oh, they could do whatever they want with their bodies." All right, that's fine, but do you want to live next to that place? Is the question. No, okay, that's all I'm saying. That's you don't want to live next to there because it's going to be problems. You're going to have all types of violence. You're going to have a lot of sex trafficking happening right there. You're going to have a lot of things that you don't want to really be involved with. Human waste on the ground, outside. You walk in your little Yorkie or whatever, just whistling, minding your business. All of a sudden, here's a big human pile on the ground, and you got to try to play hopscotch to hop around it. You understand what I'm saying? And your poor little dog done fell in it. You don't want that to happen right around your particular area. So I don't want to live next to a junkie house, and I don't think that it's appropriate for Andrew Yang to say, hey, that's a good idea. Nobody wants to have that anywhere near them. You should be, if anything, you should be trying to push for more, treatment and also to eliminate the source of the drugs. A lot of them come from China. That's a big problem with the fentanyl and whatnot, but I digress. The whole point was that whole debate last night, it just, if anything, it kind of solidified my opinion about the people that were on stage. And it lets me know that nobody has a chance. It's going to be Trump beating whoever decides to run with the stick, and it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be, if they run Joe Biden, it's going to be super ugly. It's going to be ugly. UGLY. It's not going to be a good look at all. But hey, it is what it is. Thank y'all for joining. I definitely appreciate you. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. That'll help me out tremendously. And what else we got going on here? I'm talking about, I got to talk about AOC saying that black Trump supporters are getting paid to be at the rally. Basically, is what she said. That's not her words verbatim, so don't nobody get triggered. Oh, she didn't say that. That's not what she said verbatim, but that's kind of what she was saying. You understand? Now, she was asked a question, I think it might have been on Instagram Live, about why there's so much support from people of color, quote unquote, people of color for Trump. Why does he have a big support from the people of color community, whatever that is? And then she says, well, Trump has been paying black voters at his rallies. That's totally false. That's never happened. And you guys know me. I've been to all these rallies. I've been to Black Voices for Trump, Blexit, the Black Leadership Summit. I've been to an ADOS conference. That's an American Descendants of Slaves. Paying my own money, flying across the country. I've done it. Spent too much money, really. Suits and ties and hotels and planes and food. Spent too much money. But anyway, I've done it. I've never seen anybody from the Trump administration or Trump himself come down and say, hey, here's some money. And then there are certain things that are affiliated with the Trump campaign specifically. Like I said in the video, you have Black Voices for Trump. That is an administration thing. When you go get your Black Voices for Trump hat, you get that from DonaldJTrump.com. That's an official thing. Now, if at the Black Voices for Trump event, they're giving out cash prizes to people in the audience, that'd be something different. What happened was there was one event in Cleveland put on by Daryl Scott. Daryl Scott's a pastor, and he is related. He's like in the Trump circle. There were some other guys that were there. I think Geraldo was there. And the event was to promote opportunity zones. But it was not a Trump event. It was not affiliated with the Trump campaign as far as officially. They didn't know anything about it. So to link it to Trump it's really loose. This is just one event, though, in Cleveland, and then they were giving out cash prizes. It might have been a raffle. I don't know what it was. It might have been a raffle or something. But even if that was the case and it was a Trump event, which it wasn't, do you think $200, $300 is going to cause somebody to be a Trump supporter that wasn't? So can you buy my vote for $200? And would you be able to make me be a Trump supporter vocally out there in the open, on the internet, revealing my name and my face, all this and that? Y'all know I done been doxxed behind this, had police come in the crib, guns drawn, family members getting into fights with my father, like almost a physical fist fight with my own dad. You think I want to do that? Like, you think that I want to risk that for money that I've not gotten? Because one thing I want to know is, if Trump's giving out money at his rallies, where we got to stand to be able to catch it? If he's throwing the money out like a football, I've never seen anything like that. I've spent all kind of money in my own pocket, gone to these events. That whole thing is just false. But the whole thing behind that was that she was just trying to use some random event that was put on to make Black Trump supporters appear to be paid off. And then it's insulting because it's like, okay, you think you can just be bought and sold like that for a little bit of money? The reason why we vote Democrat is because of cultural and social pressure, not because of money necessarily. It may have been like the welfare benefits in the past, of course, which is funny because she wants to accuse Trump of paying Black voters, but the Democrats at the debate, their whole thing was, okay, how can we help the Black community? Money, 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 money. Andrew Yang, $1,000 a month for everybody, unless you're on welfare. But that's a different story. Anyway, money, put more money into this, put more money into that. Nobody said anything about jobs, personal responsibility, get married before you have a baby, behave better. Nobody said anything like that. It was all money, money, money. So who's trying to buy who? That's what I want to know. Democrats don't really want the things that will actually help us get out of poverty. People like AOC ran off 25,000 jobs from New York City. I don't know what the big deal was with Amazon talking about, oh, we're paying them money. It's like, look, you got to understand, Amazon was coming to your particular location. You have cities around the country that are begging for those jobs. They will do anything they can to get those jobs. Even if New York City were to pay them cash and give them a tax benefit, it doesn't matter if they would get more in return. It's just simple because you got to be able to compete. If they don't offer that money and or tax benefit, then they'll go somewhere else. So let's say they gave them a package where it was like $500 million cash and like $3 billion in tax subsidies. I don't know what the numbers were, but let's just say that's what it was. But you're able to get annually $20 billion. I'm throwing out numbers. I don't know what the exact money would be. Plus 25,000 jobs. So not only the jobs, but also the tax revenue. This reminds me of a thing I was involved with myself back in the day. When I was a graphic designer, I had a situation where they put invoices from me on the news. I'll explain. This is going to be a short story. Now, I was doing an event for this group called the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement. This is like 2009. It's called NOBLE, N-O-B-L-E, National Organization of Black Law Enforcement. They had a conference in Norfolk, Virginia with about 1,600 black officers, chiefs, lieutenants from all over the country. I think it was a week-long event. It was training, seminars, had a party, all that kind of stuff. Now, my role was to do a lot of the graphic design stuff for them, to create pamphlets, brochures, banners, signs, like traffic signs. Like if you pull up on a hotel, it'll say, okay, go here, go there. I did that. Pens, pencils, the whole 9 yards. But we itemized everything that we charging them for. It might have been like a total of like 45,000. I got like 13,000 myself in 2009. That's gross, not net. But anyway, they put the invoices on the news talking about, oh, they're wasting money. They spent $1,000 on pens. It's like, wait a minute, hold on, let's pump the brakes. They may have spent 45,000 on marketing materials, but they brought in 1.5 million in tax revenue to the city of Norfolk, not even including the money that the staffers at the hotel made, the hotel itself. They didn't take into account how much money that they actually made. People don't understand business at all. It's just it's an ignorance thing that the mainstream media and sometimes local media will play on for a salacious headline and to villainize certain people for whatever the reason may be. I think they had a beef with the police chief, and that was some other political stuff, but I'll move on. Anyway, if you make 1.5, what's 45,000? It's nothing. It's a drop in the bucket, but it is what it is. But that's the kind of thing that people like AOC and others would focus on. Speaking of the media doing things that the average normie may not understand, this whole thing with Antarctica, they said it was like the hottest temperature ever recorded, 65 degrees or something like that. People are saying, oh, this is crazy. This is a travesty, global warming. First of all, in the southern hemisphere, it's summer right now, okay? So it may be snowing and cold up here in the northern hemisphere, United States, Europe, etc., China, but Australia, Brazil, it's a summertime. And that's where the South Pole is, Antarctica. And there may be one particular point in the actual continent of Antarctica where it gets a little bit warm. That's just one point in the past, 100 years of data. That doesn't mean anything. People see that high number and think that it means something because they live in the United States where it's cold. But people just can't really put two and two together because they don't have the information. The media plays on ignorance to make you believe a thing that's not true. And I'm here just to give out some real information, and that's it. So it is what it is. Alrighty. But thank y'all for being here. I most certainly appreciate you. Please like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Super chats on deck. Let me get to those right quick. Thank you to Stacy Felice, who says it would help boot Edge if he had kids, but it only seems to be him and his husband, which is odd for a president. Hard to relate and trust him. Plus, he's smug and sanctimonious. I agree with you 100%, and thank you for your donation. I most certainly appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, that's why they tried to put Cory Booker with Rosario Dawson, a little sham relationship or whatever that was, because you just got a guy by himself, no kids, no girlfriend, no wife, no nothing, just you. And you're 50. It's like, what's going on, sir? Is there a problem? But thank you for your donation. Shout out to Currently for becoming a ABL supporter. I definitely appreciate you. And shout out to Mr. Spock, who says some travel money ABL. Sorry it's not more, but hopefully with others it would add up. Keep up the great work. Hey, thank you for your donation. I most certainly appreciate you. Hey, whatever y'all do was all good. You know, I just appreciate all the support. And shout out to Justin Miller, who says, Justin's random question of the day: would you rather spend an hour learning skateboarding tricks with Beta Mill O'Rourke, or getting a Native American style cooking class with folks Ahanis? Wow, that's funny. Um, that's a good question. How about let's do some skateboarding with Beto, with Beta Mill O'Rourke. That'd be fun. That'd be hilarious. Seeing him trying to get out there and just do some kick flips and grinds, all that kind of good stuff. I don't want to be in there with folks Ahanis because she might burn her kitchen down. I don't think she's really a good cooker. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't, but she does not come off as a good cook or a cooker at all. But thank you for your donation. I most certainly appreciate you. Let me see. Crazy Chick Sheena says, ABL, we need more Blexit, more campaign, please. And this, see my sister Candace and Stacey Dash. Now, I think the next Blexit rally will be in Florida, but don't hold me to that. I think it's going to be in Florida. Matter of fact, let me see if I can go on their website right now and find it. But that's word through the grapevine. Hold on, let me just see if we can put that out. Let me see. All right. I think it's in Florida. I don't know. But yeah, I think it is going to be in Florida, but we'll see about that. Either way it goes, you guys know that I'll try to go to as many as possible, but I can't necessarily just be traveling all the time because it is expensive. Like I said, Trump ain't just throwing out money to black conservatives. It's just a thing. And then my question to the person or to AOC, whoever, that says that black Trump supporters get paid. I mean, is there no Democrats that get paid to do what they do? There's all kind of organizations. Let's not forget that. Black Lives Matter. I said it about the guy, D-Ray McKesson from Black Lives Matter. The guy that had on the blue vest all the time. Like, that was his trademark. It could be 1,000 degrees outside. He has on the blue vest. But anyway, this guy was a school administrator for some school in St. Louis, making $100,000 a year. Now, he quit that job to become a quote-unquote full-time protester. So how much does that pay? If you made $100,000 a year and you quit that to go be with BLM, how much does that pay? These guys making plenty of money over there on the left. I'm just being myself. If I'm acting, I must be an excellent actor. Give me my Oscar or Emmy, whatever it is, right now, because I most certainly have earned it. I most certainly have earned it to be doing live streams for years, speaking the same way. You understand what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Somebody says, ABL, do you know about the new way forward bill Democrats are secretly trying to pass for illegal immigrants? If not, check out Tucker Carlson. He explains it. I've not read into that, but I have heard about it. I need to read into it to see what's going on. So thank you for that. I definitely appreciate you. I will look into that for sure. Let me see. Santo Bartez says, and thank you for your donation, Santo. It would never happen, but if Trump were to choose another vice president, who would you like him to consider? That's a very good question. Ben Carson. I wanted him to pick Ben Carson from the beginning because I was a Ben Carson guy. I liked Ben Carson, and then Ted Cruz kind of piqued my interest. Or it might have been Ted and Ben, but I liked Ben from the beginning. But when Trump came along, it was just so undeniable. I would like Ben Carson to be there because he's so level-headed, calm, cool, collected, and super intelligent. It would just make sense. And then when they try to come with this whole thing about racism, all this, that, and the third, you can't really do that with Ben Carson. But they will try to do it, and all it's going to do is just expose them who were trying to attack the president and the administration for being racist as racist themselves. I get that a lot. Anytime I'm on these little these forums talking to liberals, they always expose themselves as being very racist. They say, oh, I'm uneducated. I did not finish the first grade. I don't know any better. I'm black. How could I support Trump? I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm an idiot, right? Like I have like a 0 IQ. Like it's a miracle for me to get up in the morning and brush my own teeth. You understand what I'm saying? Like I need help to get through the day. It's like I'm not disabled. I'm just not that. I'm a fully functioning person here. So don't try to act like I am. It is what it is. But yeah, it will really expose them for who they are, 1,000%. And I love it really because anytime that happens, anytime they get exposed on platform like TV or the internet, social media, Twitter, Facebook, or whatever, people are watching that from all over the world, all over the country, and they're going to take note. Oh, this how they behave on the left when somebody disagree with them. I don't like that too much, and people just behave accordingly. They say, okay, I might just want to back off and do something else here because I don't like what's really going on. I don't like the way that this person is being treated. You understand what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Oh, speaking about Gayle King, you guys may not have heard about this Gayle King story, but I'll explain it to you briefly. Now, Gayle King, you guys know what that is. That's Oprah's bestie. Gayle King gave Lisa Leslie an interview. Now, Lisa Leslie is a women's or female basketball player. She played for the LA Sparks between 97 and 2009. She was there while Kobe was there in LA playing basketball for the Lakers. So they're friends, they got together or whatever. Gayle King had Lisa Leslie on the show talking about Kobe and his legacy. Now, this was an interview that was, it was wide ranging, going for quite a while. And the question about the rape allegation from 2003 came up. And she asked her about it and was basically saying, do you think it tarnishes his legacy, all this, that, and the third? Now, the way she was asking the questions to some seemed like she was trying to grill her and get her to say a thing that was negative. But Lisa Leslie did not say anything negative. She said something positive about him. So it was this whole thing about, oh, cancel Gayle King. How can you be a black woman and trash Kobe Bryant like that from a false allegation, this, that, and the third? But one thing I noticed was after Gayle King, defended herself and said it wasn't like that, the clip was not really in proper context. What I saw was that all throughout mainstream media, all throughout the internets, there's been no mainstream source that has defended Kobe Bryant at all, except for Gayle King's interview with Lisa Leslie. Lisa Leslie gave him a full defense and said, that's not my friend, it's not who I know. Gayle King's platform is the only place where I saw a defense in favor of Kobe Bryant. Now, I could be wrong about that, but I don't think I am. At least on the mainstream media level, people like us, we talk about it, but not CBS, NBC, ABC. Nobody else did that except for Gayle King or her platform. So I think a lot of the backlash is not necessary. People just want to attack her because it's kind of an easy target. And, Oprah is a different story. Gayle King is not Oprah. Gayle King is her friend. Gayle King does things with Oprah, but she's not Oprah. Oprah deserves criticism because of the whole Russell Simmons kerfuffle talking about, oh, I believe the women, I stand with the women. She deserves her criticism for that, but not Gayle King in this particular situation. So, yeah, when I first saw it, I was kind of like, are you badgering her? But then when I realized what was happening and I kind of zoomed out, I understood what was really going on. And that sometimes the media, like Gayle King said, they'll put out a clip of a thing without context, without kind of any understanding to get these hate clicks and hate reviews or whatever. And when it's all said and done, people are just upset. And were the clicks and the views worth it, CBS? Now you got to do with a disgruntled employee and a disgruntled staff who don't like the decision that you made to put it out there like that. But we'll move on. Thank y'all for being here. Most certainly appreciate y'all again. You guys are fantastic. Oh, yeah, like I said, I'm no fan of Oprah or Gayle King, really. But in this case, I think the defense of Kobe was the only one that I've seen on the mainstream media, and it came on Gayle King's platform. So I can't really say much negative about her in that sense, And you can not like her, and that's fine. But let's look at things without the lens of not liking her. I don't like Barack Obama, but if he does something that's good, then I'm going to say he did something that's good. I'll give him that credit, although I don't like him. It's been guys that I don't like that I got money with for years. I knew it was a guy that I did not like from the very beginning. From the first day I met him, I hated him. I just hated him. Did not like him. I knew it was not going to be us having a relationship, being able to get along, but we got money together for a long time. For years, we got money together. I put aside my dislike for him in favor of being able to get money with him and being able to do business with him. The same way I would put it aside for Gayle King and anybody else if they do a good thing. That's pretty much how I operate. You know, that's why I'm able to just kind of, give the news in a way that is not so biased. I'm a conservative, yes, but I'm not gonna just be blind and ignore things that I see. Just kind of just a more organic kind of way of being. But it is what it is. So there was a question asked to me earlier about who would I want to have run as a vice president if it wasn't Pence. Who do you guys think should be the person that will run, or that should be the vice president if not Pence? I want to hear you guys' thoughts on that. Oh yeah, I did see that. I'll get to that in a moment. Jane Granger. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. 'Cause I did a video. Well, I didn't do a video on that one. I may do a video separately, but I put it on my social media about that. But I'm gonna get to it. Okay. But see, Sir Chalice, look at it like this though. The issue of the rape allegation had already been brought up by the mainstream media. So it's not like she just brought it up by herself. It was all over the media. As soon as the plane crashed, I'm talking about instantly, within like a few minutes, rape allegation is already brought up. So you got two choices. Either you're just going to let them continue to say rape allegation with no defense, or you're going to defend him. Two choices. If you don't defend him, then you're not going to mention it. If you do defend him, then you are going to mention it. So would you rather her defend him or not defend him? If you like Kobe, you think he was innocent, think he was falsely accused, would you want a defense to be given on his behalf or not? It's simple. If you don't want a defense to be given on his behalf, that's fine. I understand. But I think it's deserving. I think he deserves a defense to be given on his behalf. That's it. It ain't nothing else to it. I don't have my emotions getting involved. I'm looking at it on a plain black and white level, and that's all. That's all we got to do. Defend it or not. Lily Chobot, is that your name? Ma'am, sir, I don't know your pronouns, so don't get offended. Says Trump isn't going to win. He is corrupt. Shame on you. Well, he did win in 2016, so why would he not win this time? What's going to prevent him from winning? What you gonna do? You're gonna put you're gonna do some corruption, engage in some voter fraud. I don't see him losing. But hey, it is what it is. Maybe you know better than me. I don't think you do though, but that's possible. Lion Ted, not Lion Ted no more. Oh yeah, yes, Wanda. There was going to be a fist fight. Yes, there was going to be a fist fight. It's just one of those things. It's like I don't know what coming out to your parents would be like. I'm not gay, but I can imagine if you came out to your parents and they were like totally anti-gay, that'd kind of be how it is if you're coming out as conservative. That's kind of how it was. It was like what I would imagine that process would be like. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, it was definitely to the point where we almost got into a fight over me coming out as conservative. Absolutely, 1,000%. But that's what we got to do with all the time. That's not anything that's abnormal in the black community at all. That's just what we deal with every day. But what else we got going on here? I think I covered the Trump supporters being paid allegedly, the Gayle King interview, the Democrat debate recap. I had one more topic on deck. Oh, and you guys, if you don't know, if you're just not coming in, this show will be available on all streaming platforms as far as audio only. It'll be up as a podcast. Right now, it's on Anchor FM and Spotify, but you can check Anchor FM for the new platforms that are added, because right now we're still adding more. It's going to be on iTunes, Stitcher, I think Google, if I'm not mistaken. There's going to be lot more podcasts added, a lot more podcast platforms added. But this show you're listening to right now will be an audio only podcast available on different platforms. This particular show right here will be available Monday morning, and the Wednesday show will be available Friday morning. That'll pretty much be the upload schedule. So yeah, check it out. The link's in the box. I just put it right there in the chat box as well. Alrighty. How old was I when I came out as conservative? I was old. I was like, this had to have been, I probably was like, wow, 28, 26. How old was I? This was, hold on. It's 2020 right now. I'll be 36. So this was like right around 2012, I think, about 8 years ago. So about 28, yeah, right around that time. Yep. But it was kind of a gradual process, though, because I became more, I guess you would call it radical, more vocal about being conservative, but then that's when it kind of became a problem. Yeah, exactly. 01713. It's standard. If you are conservative and black, you're going to have certain problems that you got to deal with. You know, this is why, you know, there's certain things that I talk about as far as race is concerned, because there's differences, and it shouldn't be like that, but it is like that. And I got to live in reality. I got to talk about things the way they are, not the way that I would like for them to be. Yeah, the coronavirus might be kind of overblown. It might be a little bit of hysteria behind that, honestly. I see you, Don. It's all right. But it's kind of overblown because there's only like a 2% death rate. That's not necessarily zero, obviously, but it's not like you get it and you just start shaking and convulsing and you turn into mush. It ain't like that. It's a 2% death rate from what I've heard. But that could be wrong, you know, with China. You never know what's going on. I mean, they'll tell you anything. You understand? I think the doctor that came out and was warning about the coronavirus died, but that might not be true either. I don't even know. Yeah, PN, I wasn't scared about trying to fight my father, but I guess it would be kind of a coming of age thing. And I think after that, he gained more respect for me after that, because he knew I wasn't going to be backing down on my beliefs, and I wasn't just going to, you know, as soon as I'd be challenged, just be like, oh yeah, you're right, I'm gonna just back away. You know, I done had a gun in my face twice. I done, you know, been told people that's bigger than me, stronger than me, physically. So it's like the internet trolls and stuff like that. It's like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, sir, ma'am, Z or Zim, whatever your pronouns are? What are you gonna do? Nothing. So it is what it is. Is it 1,200 dead? Wow. From the coronavirus? That's crazy. Now, how many have been affected? That's the question. Somebody says, Jasba, hopefully I ain't butcher your name, who says, have you been on the podcast with Brandon Tatum? Brandon Tatum's been on the show before, a long time ago. I need to get it back on the show. I have his number. I can call him right now and say, hey, you know, let's do a podcast, come on the show. So I've not been on the show with him in a long time, but I have been before. More than once, a few times, been on the show together. But I think we're going to do another one, or we should do another one pretty soon here. Let me see. NorCal on the right says a 2% rate actually equates approximately 30% death rate. How does it go from 2% to 30%? Like, how does that work? Like, tell me what's going on. Because like I said, I might not know everything. I'm being told information that could be incorrect coming from China. Who knows? Let me see. I saw that, Steve. People were getting arrested in China for, like, they thought that they might have the coronavirus. So they were being drugged out of their homes. And they're fighting it because they're saying they're not infected and they don't want to be quarantined with other infected. You understand what I'm saying? So imagine if you just minding your own business, watching the show, watching TV, playing on your phone. Here come the Jack Boys beating your door down. Oh, you got the virus, come with us. And then they're going to put you in a tank with those that have it, who might actually be ready to pass away. And you now your whole life is totally changed right in front of your eyes. But that's China for you, you know. when you're dealing with a state like that where they can do pretty much whatever they want, you don't have much freedoms or choices. So yeah, it's not really a good thing to it's not a good thing to be in a communist state because they can do whatever they want to you. That's what Bernie Sanders and Andrew Yang and all them want. No guns, government control everything. How are you going to control the election from a financial point of view for the government? Bernie Sanders said that he wants the government to fund elections and to take private money out. This is communism. I mean, what can a person own? They can't even own their own fate. They can't even say, all right, I want to donate to this particular person because I want them to win. It comes from the government. How does it even work? It's just silly. Now, I've not seen the drone video of Wuhan, but one thing about Wuhan is that it's a city of like 10 million. It's not a small city. Think about LA County. Think about New York City, but even bigger than New York City. So, and then the metro area is bigger than that. Is, like 50 million in the metro area. That's the United States has about 325 million people in it. Maybe about 350. That particular metro area is 50 million. That's a lot of people to get quarantined. Whole lot of people. Fob Hopper says ABL, the coronavirus is serious at a 25% complication rate, meaning you get other sicknesses when you get it, and a 3% death rate. The flu has a 0.000001 death rate. Wow. Okay. See, I didn't know all that. Now the complications, what could those be? I'm hearing that the reason why you may pass away from the coronavirus is because you get pneumonia that's resistant to what do they call it, to antibiotics. Is that what's going on, or is it the virus itself that kills you? I don't really know. Yeah, China is crazy. That's why the quarantine is so important, because not only is population very big, it's also densely populated in the cities like Shanghai, Beijing. Shanghai has its own, like Shanghai is like its own little country, really. Its own language, like Shanghaiese, its own little dialect to speak up there. So it's a mess. Thanks to the donators right quick, the super chatters. Shout out to, let me see, Matthew, who says, hold on, is R underscore PE less serious in black community? Oh, okay, I understand what you're saying. Is rape less serious in black communities? I don't know the answer to that question. Like, I don't know what you're really asking me. Are you saying is it not as important, or is it less prevalent? If you're saying that is less important, it's not less important, but we don't want people to be accused of a thing that they didn't do. If somebody did something, then okay, prove it. Because people get accused of doing things all the time, just like Emmett Till, or you whistling at women, then you get killed. No, people have been accused of doing things they didn't do. So all I'm saying is, if a person did something, prove it. You don't want to bring back the lynch mobs, all that kind of stuff, where somebody says you did something, maybe you did it, maybe you didn't do it. Nobody cares about, finding evidence or anything like that. They just say, okay, you did it, you're guilty, go to jail or whatever. People are getting exonerated years later with DNA evidence. So you don't want to have anybody that's accused of a thing that does not get locked up that's still seen as guilty. You understand? Especially Kobe. I mean, Kobe was not even the type of guy to be like that, to be out there just being a predator or a rapist or anything. He's one of the guys in the NBA that you wouldn't think would do that. There's other guys in the league that might do something like that, but not Kobe. That's just, it doesn't make any sense. But shout out to Matt, who says, let me see, Mike Pence, 100%. All right, thank you for your donation. Talk about who's going to be the vice president, or who would you want to be the vice president. Let me see. Mandatory Carey says, running short and at work can't stay and play, but hashtag keep fighting. P.S. Me for VP. Hey, that's all. It's all good, man. Go ahead, run for that spot, 1,000%. And shout out to Merle Garrett, who says, Why would you vote Democrat as a black person? I don't know. People have their reasons. I don't really have one myself personally. I don't think anybody should vote Democrat. Black, white, Puerto Rican candy stripe. But thank you for your donation. Shout out to Chaz Fate, who says, God bless, keep at it, sir. Thumbs up. And thank you for your donation and your very kind words, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Faith, who says, was a coronavirus really made in a lab? I don't know. People are saying that, but I don't know. I mean, maybe it was, but maybe it wasn't. I don't have any evidence that says that it was. So I can't say that it was. You know. Fob Hopper says, ABL, both the virus and complications like pneumonia and that surviving the infection does not confer immunity like the flu. And it's been reported that children can be born infected with the virus. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't hear anything about that. That's pretty crazy. So you can die just from the virus itself? Okay. See, I was under the impression that the virus just caused you to be susceptible to other things that would kill you, like antibiotic-resistant pneumonia. But thank you for your information on that. And shout out to Ellie Bell, who says, Sticks has great daily videos on the coronavirus. Yeah, shout out to Six Sexy Hammer. You know, shout out to him. Big up. Wanda's Place says, I voted for Obama because he was the hope of my grandmother and mother's generation. Yes. When my granddad was still living, he passed away before Obama actually got in office. But at the time when he was living, Obama was running. And he was saying that he didn't think that he would win. He thought it would be Hillary Clinton because there's no way you're going to have a black president. And then he won. So when he won, it was like really emotional for people. You know, when he won, I had an office. We had an agency, like a graphic design and photography agency. And we had our clients there. We were all there, friends, family there at a party to celebrate him being elected. It was an election party. People were crying, screaming, not because he's going to have great policy, he's going to lead us forward, hope and change. It wasn't because of that. It's because he's black and we're all black. You understand what I'm saying? In the actual place where I was, everybody was black. So we didn't care anything about politics at all. I didn't at the time. I'm like 24 at the time. I ain't care nothing about politics. It was all about just him being a black president. That's it. So yeah, that was the main thing. But I realized in 2012, well before 2012, but definitely in 2012, I realized that I made a wrong decision. I realized that in 2011, people were going bankrupt around me. My friends were going bankrupt, family having problems. I'm having money problems at the time in 2011, not because of the recession or anything like that from the housing. It wasn't even that. We did very well in the housing situation because we had kind of a different market that was not really involved with that. But yeah, we did not feel anything until like he started to just implement policies and things that were not business friendly. And we felt it in like 2011. People went bankrupt. It was a problem. So we're like hoping change, like what's really going on here. But now that we got Trump, everybody's doing well. Things are going better. You know, I just don't really. I realize that I made the wrong decision and I won't never do it again. Ever. Let me see. View to a Grill says, I watched some of your earlier videos and realized you were just a voice. What made you step in front of the camera? Well, okay, that's a good question. When I first started, all I had was, this is like, 2015? All I had was like a BlackBerry phone. And I wish I still had that phone. But it was a BlackBerry phone and I had an old Mac laptop. I had an iMac, like one of the all-in-ones. It was old though, from like 2009. When I got the money from the police, like the $13,000, I spent like 2 of it on the computer. But this is like 2015, so the computer was kind of old at this point. But anyway, I had the phone. I was recording voice notes on the phone, and then I will upload them to my computer through Bluetooth, and then I will put slides on my voice, and that'll be my video. But at the time, I have no microphone like this. I have no webcam. I have nothing. So as I started to do more and started to kind of gain traction, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make. I started making money on it at a particular point. I made like $200 on my videos, so I took that money out and put it back into myself and got my webcam that I used for a long time up until recently. I used it for a long time. Got the webcam, got a microphone, and then to me that was a little bit easier to record video, and I wanted me as a person to be out there to people so they can see this is me. I'm a real person. I'm not just, a voice. You can see how I look. You know that this is a real individual and all this and that. So it just kind of made sense for a few reasons. It was easier to do it. I wanted to be out there. I wanted to be known as a black conservative, and I wanted people that were looking for a guy like me to feel comfortable talking or listening to me talk because of my appearance and the fact that you can see me, so it's not so disconnected, if that makes any sense. But yeah, when I started, I didn't have any kind of equipment that I needed. All I had was just my phone and my computer. Yep. So that's pretty much what it was. All right, you guys. Thank you all for being here. I definitely appreciate you. The number to call is 434-658-1220. I'm going to get to the calls in just a few minutes here. But what else we got? Oh, yes. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff for me. That'll help me out tremendously. Let me see. Big Feet says, how much change did you get? That's right. Change as in that sense. As in, I'm not sure what you mean there. All right. I'm just reading some of the chat. Norman Jacob says, how come I can minimize YouTube videos while watching other live videos but not yours? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. I have no control over it, so I don't understand what's going on. That might be, are you watching it on your phone? I'm not really sure why that is like that. It's weird. Yeah, now the whole thing about the bats, that's what I've heard at first, that it was coming from bats. I mean, if you're eating bats and rats and cats and dogs and everything else, disease might come from that. That might not be really far-fetched. So who knows? Predictions for Mitt. He'll be done in government soon. Whether he'll retire because he will not be reelected, or he'll be recalled. But I'm not sure how that's going to work, him being recalled. That could happen. It might not happen. I don't know. But that could definitely be an option that's available for the people to take. But I don't know how that would work. Alrighty. So let's get to the calls. You guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Oh, that's a good question. Before I get to the calls, I got one last question here. E-Deck says, what are your thoughts on Susan Rice threatening Snoop Dogg? Now, that was a crazy threat. Now, okay, you guys know I spoke about the whole thing with Gayle King and Oprah and Kobe and Lisa Leslie, right? That whole kerfuffle there. Now, Snoop Dogg has been talking really crazy about Gayle King, kind of like, I'm going to keep talking about her until I see her, kind of like threatening her, right? And like, man, you ain't going to do nothing for real because you work. You're not going to be out here gang banging. You're like 50, cut it out. But anyway, he was kind of like threatening her a little bit on social media. Susan Rice came out of nowhere and said, hey, Snoop, back the bleep off. Now, she did not put an actual curse word out there on Twitter. It was just like 4 little asterisks, but you could pretty much fill in the blanks with the curse word that would go there. Back the bleep off, but I digress. Anyway, she was basically saying to Snoop, back off, leave her alone. It'd be an army after you if you keep on going. Now, let's not forget who Susan Rice is. This is an Obama henchman. A lot of the things that she said while as ambassador to the UN led to Gaddafi getting iced. So, I mean, is that who you want to be on your bad side? I don't really know. I'm not saying she's going to have Snoop droned or suicided or anything like that. I would never say anything like that. That's a conspiracy theory. How dare me say something like that? However, it would not be far-fetched. We know how Hillary Clinton and that gang gets down with all the mysterious stuff that surround them. So, hey, I would tell Snoop, when Susan Rice comes and says you need to stop, you might want to stop. But I'll leave it right there. I will leave it right there. But yeah, that ain't who you want to play with. People like that, these deep state swamp monsters. This is like Daddy Jackal. I mean, No Country for Old Men type stuff. You don't want to deal with it at all. If I saw that, I would not want to deal with it. I mean, if I saw Susan Rice, I'd be like, all right, FBI, can I get some protection? I'll be calling Trump, the Secret Service. Can I get protected, please? I don't want them to be after me. Okay? So that's pretty much what that is. All right. This is not a channel for only black people. Anybody can come through. Just don't be a troll and spamming my mentions with a bunch of weird stuff. Anybody can come in, talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's all good. Yeah, I don't want Susan Rice to be on my neck. I just like to live in peace. I don't want any kind of problems at all. Just leave me alone. I'll leave you alone. We just leave it right there and call it a day. Alrighty. But let's see if Skype won that. Okay. Also, you guys, if you didn't hear me from the beginning or when I said it again, this podcast you're listening to right now, this live show will be available as a podcast on all streaming platforms. As of right now, it's available on Anchor FM and Spotify. There is a link for that in the box, and I will place that in the chat box as well. This particular show you're listening to right now will be available on Monday morning, and the Wednesday show will be available on Friday morning. That'll be my upload schedule for the podcast, but I'm going to go ahead and get to the calls right quick. Let me just make sure my stuff is straight, and then we'll go ahead and get rocking and rolling. Okay. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know what's happening right here. It's not my fault. I didn't do it. I might have turned this off. Y'all just hang tight. Hold on one second. Let me just see if I can restart it. Okay, let's go. There we go. I don't know what that was. That was weird. Alrighty, magnificent. What's going on? Everything's good, man. What's happening?
Man, I was just calling to see if you could tell me how much money Trump has paid you to be a supporter, because you've been a supporter all these years, and I want to know how much money you've been making.
I've not gotten a dime from Trump. Matter of fact, I done spent money to go to Trump rallies and to these conferences and everything else, to the point where I thought about going to CPAC, but I'm like, man, this is getting expensive to keep traveling. Like, I might want to save my money a little bit here.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I was going to say that's been my experience too. You know, I figured, like, if there's something going on where black people are getting paid to support this man and I haven't been cut a check, then, you know, I need to know where to go file my grievance on that one. Exactly. So I figured I would check around.
Exactly, 100%.
Right. Like, apparently we getting paid to go and support this man, and that's where all the money is, right? Where it's like it's more money to actually get on YouTube and race bait and say all this other stuff, right? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, like, I mean, look at the Young Turks. They got the whole news channel basically on YouTube. They've been visited by the CEO, Susan Wojcicki. Alex Jones gets kicked off for saying the same things they say, just on the right. It's like they have the same topic. Jones would be on the right, they'll be on the left. They're still here, but he's gone. So what's really going on? We know who's really favored and who's not.
Right. And then they've got all these little creative ways that they come up to say, you know, if you squint your eyes and tilt your head to the side, this is actually racist and this institution needs to be taken down and we need to deconstruct this. So they're actually paying people to do that. They're not paying people to uphold standards. They're paying people to go find out race and stuff like that. So it's like, that's really funny. And it just really shows you where the left is right now. The state of the left right now, they're just in full on attack mode. Like, I don't know if you saw today on Twitter, the picture of Trump trending where it looks like he has a tan on his face, like it's orange and then there's a tan line at the top of his forehead. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that. Yeah, I saw that right away. And I'm like, okay, Orange Man bad. They're still on that. They got to get over it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some of my friends shared that too. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I'll take that. If that's all you have to throw at this man at this point, I'll take it. Because everything else they tried to say when they were like, oh, Robert Mueller's going to get him. We know Trump colluded. And then with the impeachment thing, they have nothing left. All they can do is just ad hominem attack him. That just tells you right there that they are losing. They have nothing else. So they're like, well, that shirt is stupid. His face is orange. I'm like, okay, he's still your president at the end of these little childish comments.
Right, exactly, 100%.
Yeah.
And then the thing about it was, apparently it had been photoshopped, it had been edited. Like, he's orange, but he's not that orange.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
Yeah.
what's really going on?
Right. Oh, one thing I want to ask you too. So I got a good friend of mine back in Colorado. He reached out to me earlier in the week and he sent me an article. He's not a big Trump guy. He likes his economic policies or whatever, but he does think Trump is racist and everything like that. So he sent me a link to an article about Trump and Ben Carson wanting to roll back some regulation that would allow banks to discriminate in their lending practices, specifically for black people. And I read the article like right off top. I already knew it was going to say like, well, it's targeting blacks because we don't get the loans the way that white people get the loans. But it's like, I already know that if you dig deeper and look at why people are getting rejected, it has nothing to do with skin color. And I just want to know, what do you think about that? If you've heard about this and what your thoughts are on Trump rolling back this regulation, because apparently it means like banks could do all kind of stuff, the segregation and all that discrimination in housing. I don't know if you heard about it or not.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is a bank should be able to discriminate based on things like your credit score and your ability to pay. I think the whole thing about race and whatnot, that can be put in there to complicate things when it's not really an issue. People just kind of want to make those types of things up, and it's not really there. So I think that could be what's going on. And it makes it easier for banks to just operate the way they want to operate. It's not about a race thing. It's thrown in there to complicate things, but it's not even the issue.
Yeah, and that's what I try to tell him too. And I think he's probably on the same page. He just hadn't heard about it, and he knows I'm a Trump supporter, so he reached out to me, and I pretty much told him like I'm all for fixing the problems that have led black people to not be able to get loans, but I don't think we should lower the standards so that you'll have subprime lenders, because that creates a whole nother problem, right? Just like with the affirmative action, like when they lower the bars and then black and brown people get into Harvard and Stanford and then they flunk out, then that just has the adverse effect. It's like you just wanted them there because they were brown, not because they met the academic requirements.
That's right, and that's what it's supposed to be about. I mean, and the thing about it, if you go to one of these places and you're not really qualified to be there, you end up suffering at the end. So how is it actually going to benefit you? It does not benefit you as a student. It benefits the school because they get to look like they're so woke and progressive and they are forward thinking, when it's really not the case. They're just actually using you as a prop for themselves, and it's not right.
hmm Yeah, and then the other thing that he mentioned, and I've heard this before, he's like, man, I really don't like that Trump brought Rush Limbaugh to the State of the Union because Rush Limbaugh is definitely a racist. Now, I've never even really listened to Rush Limbaugh. I grew up hearing that he's racist, but I also grew up hearing a whole bunch of things are racist. And now that I'm finding out that they're not, it makes me want to listen to Rush Limbaugh. And I know that you have said that Rush Limbaugh is somebody that you started listening to. He opened your eyes to a lot of things. I've seen a lot of other black Trump supporters say the same thing. So I'm inclined to think he's probably not racist. He's at the very worst, he's probably said some things that are questionable or controversial. I saw a CNN hit piece where there were certain things that he said, like they have him on video saying it. And I know CNN is obviously fake news, but I watched it out of curiosity. And there are some things that he said that I could see where people are like, oh, that's where they at least get the whole Rush Limbaugh's a racist thing. So what do you say to people who, if it's a family member or friend that says, how can you listen to Rush Limbaugh? He's a racist. And here's an example.
Well, first of all, I'm the same as you. I've been growing up hearing that Rush Limbaugh was racist. Like a lot of black folks just grew up hearing that. It's just a thing. And we don't really question it. We just say, okay, he must be racist. And we just leave it alone. The same thing with, or the Republicans are racist. Trump is racist, the same thing. But when I was starting to, come into my own as being conservative, I listened to him. I was like, okay, let's see what it's about. I'm not going to be constrained by what people just tell me. I'm going to think for myself. When I heard him, I did not hear anything racist. People want to just pick out little clips here and there and say, oh, okay, that's racist. But what they also failed to mention is that he, as a black producer, has had one for the past 30 years in Bo Snerdley. A lot of those things that Rush would say would get given to him by the black producer to say. You understand what I'm saying? So I think people need to just look at things in context, not look at some things taken out of context by the mainstream media, and let go of their bias, be more open-minded, and don't just be wanting to believe a thing they already believe. Because people, a lot of times, they'll go looking for confirmation. They want confirmation bias. Oh, he's racist. Let me find some racist clips to prove my point. You know, they won't say anything he said that's not racist, or look at his producer saying that he's not racist, and all the things that he said have been positive and things that will actually help the black community. They don't want to see that. They just want to see what they already believe. And if you go into it like that, you'd be able to find whatever you want.
Right. Right. And that's what I like to do is, empower people to use their own discernment in situations like this. Like, if somebody is racist and that's all you've heard is they're racist, why don't you go see and find out for yourself? Because if it's true, you'll see it. You'll feel it. Right. But 9 times out of 10, if somebody's telling you this is for sure true, this is true, this is true, and then if you go and see it and you're going to find out, well, actually it's not true, or you've misconstrued it, or you've taken it out of context. I'm just like, what are they so afraid of? Why do they need to play this gatekeeper role and try to keep people from hearing someone like a Rush Limbaugh, like what they're doing with Trump? Trump is so racist. Don't listen to him. Then when you go to his rally, you're like, no, that's not true, right? It's like people can discern it for themselves. If it's so true, you would see it, right? It's just crazy. It's crazy. I get so tired of it. But I'll let you go after this last thing. I don't know if you heard about the New Way Forward Act. I saw it on Tucker Carlson. I still, to this day, like, I've looked it up on Google. I haven't seen any other news outlet reporting it. But this is the craziest piece of legislation I've ever heard in my life. It is literally the Democrats in Congress, 44 of them, I think, authored this bill where they're basically siding with not just illegal aliens, criminal aliens who've committed heinous crimes. And a lot of the bill includes stuff like, previously deported aliens, we can try to bring them back into the country. Let's reach out to them. 100% of the legislation is all about illegal aliens. And I know it won't pass, right? It has to go to a committee and then get voted on in the House and in the Senate, and it won't pass. And if it made it to Trump's desk, it would get vetoed. But the fact of the matter is, there are people in Congress right now who have put pen to paper on legislation that would fundamentally ruin this country, change it forever. And it just blows my mind that hardly anybody's talking about it. So I just wonder, are they just not paying it any attention because it won't get passed? Or do they not even know about it?
Well, they're probably not looking at it because it won't get passed, and they might not know about it. I've not seen anything about this. I've heard about it. Like, I've heard just the name, but I've not seen any kind of documentation on it, any kind of literature on it. But I'm going to try to find some stuff and look into it to see what's going on. But it's no surprise to me. This is what the Democrats have been doing for a long time. I mean, they got the sanctuary cities. That's what that's the problem with sanctuary cities. It's not necessarily just the illegals that are there. It's the people that are there that are illegal criminals. That's the bigger problem than just the regular illegals. People that, they're in there for murder, robbery. You got guys that are getting locked up on certain things that are let go or given really big slaps on the wrist, because if they are allowed to go through the system, then there's a deportation, and then that will make their sanctuary city appear to be what it is, which is ineffective. This is like the whole thing with The Wire. I don't know if you've ever seen The Wire, but there was one particular part of the show where they had this zone you could sell drugs in called Amsterdam. The police said, okay, stay in this one little zone. It's like a block in the city of Baltimore. You can sell your drugs right here, and we won't bother you. Nobody will get arrested or whatever. But one day, the cops roll up, and they find a body in Amsterdam. Oh, it's supposed to be no shooting in Amsterdam, no guns in Amsterdam, no violence in Amsterdam, or you're going to shut it down. But rather than reporting the body and shutting Amsterdam down, what they did was move the body out of Amsterdam, so then it looked like, oh, this place is still safe and there's no problem. It's the same thing going on with sanctuary cities. They want to just act like, oh, there's no rape and murder and whatnot going on here, no drugs being sold by the illegal aliens, because they want to have this facade of the sanctuary city being safe. So they've been doing that for a very long time, and I think this act is just a way to do that on a bigger level.
Yeah, it's supporting criminal activity. This is in the most literal sense, politicians supporting criminals. And if you couple that with the gun ban that they're trying to propose, there's other legislation that they're working on now. That is them trying to disarm people who would be victims of the crime. You know how that works, right? Inner city stuff like, oh, we're going to take away guns. We're going to have strict gun laws in Chicago and Baltimore and Philadelphia. But then the criminals are like, okay, I can kick in everybody's door. So that couple, and then I'm going to be protected. If you're an illegal alien, you don't have to worry about getting deported. So you can just wreak havoc. So that's just them trying to empower criminals. And I think everybody should be talking about that, because even though it won't be passed, it's a matter of time before it gains steam, it gains momentum. The fact that they're even working on a bill like that instead of working on what we need here, they're focused on criminal aliens.
Right, exactly, 100%.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. But I just wanted to get that out there, man. Appreciate you, man. Love everything you do. You're a trailblazer in the YouTube community. And for those watching, please subscribe, Mike Nificent. Find me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Have a good night, man. Appreciate you.
And thank you for the show. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Later.
All right. Great call from my man, Mike Nificent. And I'm going to go ahead and turn that ringer off for you. People would say, hey, why can't you turn the ringer off all the time? Just set it, after turning it off manually each time I start the app. And I have to keep the settings open so it stays closed. That's just kind of how Microsoft does in 2020, but it is what it is. Thank you all for being here. Most certainly appreciate you. The number to call is 434-658-1220. If you want to get in through Skype, there is an email for that in the description box below. Open that up, copy and paste the email, and I can add you that way. And let's go ahead and get to the next call. We're going to go to, give me 1 second here, get everything straight. Let's go to, all right, Matt, what's going on? Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Hey, you know how, like in other countries, I'm not going to try to pick on one in particular or another culture in particular, but like in Arab cultures, like if they throw gay people off a building, right? And I'm speaking of like cultural relativism in a way, where people just don't care as much as because they're in Saudi Arabia, or if there's a country in Africa and the woman has 8 children and 3 of them die, they objectively don't care as much as about their children. Like there's an anthropologist, a late anthropologist by the name of Hans Rosling, that talks about babies and culture, and how when we come into the first world we have fewer babies because we value our individual children more than in first world countries than people do in third world countries. Do you disagree with any of that conjecture thus far?
I guess in certain countries it's going to be different.
Mm-hmm. So my question is, like, when I'm saying, like, hey, is rape as significant in black culture as it is in white culture? And I'm talking about just in America in general. Is it as significant? Because to me, I would objectively say no to this. And I'm saying this as, like, watching Snoop Dogg threaten Gayle King on social media. And when you look at the rape case against Kobe Bryant, like, I've read a couple stories, like he admits to having sex with her, and her DNA was on his T-shirt, like the blood was on his T-shirt, and I just don't think people care as much as because Kobe's a rich black guy. I mean, Blasey Ford didn't even. I mean, her evidence wasn't even anecdotal, and people came out of the woodwork to condemn Kavanaugh. And I think it's because Blasey Ford was white.
Now, that's a whole different situation right there. I mean, the reason why people came against Blasey Ford, people came against was it Kavanaugh, because he was a Trump appointee. That's the only reason. That's why. Nothing to do with the rape or anything. It was a political reason. Now, as far as Kobe is concerned, he did not get locked up for that. It was an allegation. They had sex. That don't mean that he raped her. It's a different story, because you've seen things all the time where somebody says, okay, I consent to this, but then later I regret it. Or he's a millionaire guy, superstar athlete. It could be a money grab. I don't know that to be the case, but it could be. Just because she said that he raped her doesn't mean that it actually happened. You got to be able to find the man guilty on that. Now, if he was found guilty, it'd be a different story. Nobody can say anything, but he did not get found guilty. So you can't say, oh, he was a rapist, and there's been no other allegation. So it's not a pattern. See, sometimes you could say it's a pattern, like with Bill Cosby. You know, he did not get convicted of rape before he got locked up this most recent time he was in trouble. But before that, everybody knew he was a rapist because it was a pattern. It was a consistent pattern, the same story. I mean, he was known for doing that, okay? But he did not get convicted, but we all knew it. But with Kobe, it was just this one incident, and it was, probably from his point of view, consensual, but she said it wasn't. But he didn't get locked up for it. That's the key.
Yeah, there's a lot of men in prison for a lot less evidence. And
like what though? Like, okay, they had sex. Doesn't mean, okay, if somebody says
she had a bruise, she claimed that he choked her, and she had evidence of that.
But there was also DNA from other men on her at the same time.
Well, I mean that.
So
the other men could have been consensual, but her blood was on his T-shirt.
Blood from what though?
From her.
But from what though?
Her DNA matched the blood they found on his shirt.
But what was the blood like? How did the blood get there?
Well, it was on his crotch. I mean, on the crotch of his shirt. I'm just saying that yes, I totally understand that there's a pretty high objective level that you need to make in order to put someone in prison. And I'm not saying that prison is the end all be all for that type of crime. I mean, like, I think he should pay out the ass too. But I'm saying it really does look like he raped that girl.
I mean,
I'm saying by standards that have put other men in prison.
But is it right for somebody to go to jail when you're not able to prove that there was rape there? Is that right? Because there's plenty of people that have been locked up on cases like that. They get exonerated later because of DNA evidence. So is it right to put somebody in jail with that kind of evidence? It's consensual. He says it's consensual. He says it's consensual. He says was it consensual? So should he get locked up for that?
In this case, the DNA was hers and it was on him. And
you're not hearing what I'm saying. You're not hearing what I'm saying. Hold up. Wait, let's pause. Time out. He says it was consensual. Of course, the DNA would be on them if they had sex. That don't mean that he raped her.
It could have been rough consensual sex.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda is not enough to get somebody locked. Hold on. Coulda, shoulda, woulda is not enough to get somebody locked up. You can't be in court talking about coulda, shoulda, woulda as a lawyer.
I totally know. I agree with that. But I'm saying the objective standard that has put other men in prison, that we're beyond that.
But is it right to do that though? Because it's plenty of guys in jail that are innocent, and it's guys.
My conjecture is if it's a white woman, it's correct to do. If it's a woman of color, and you got Snoop Dogg, and I'm not trying to digress. I'm saying I'm making a cultural point here. The guy talks about beating women with his shoe and stuff, and he's invited to the White House. But Rush Limbaugh is the bad person. I totally understand, and I'll give you just an objective example. I'm playing spades with people of color, okay, and family members, and the news about the coronavirus. And I find this joke kind of funny. I think humor does help in situations, and one of my family members made the joke to the effect of, hey, what goes good with coronavirus? Lyme disease. And I thought it was somewhat funny. It's macabre. I totally understand. And we're talking about people that are dying in real time in China. But we were playing spades, and someone made a cheers, and I just cheers to Kobe. I just said to Kobe. I hadn't talked about the guy the whole day. The whole room went. I mean, everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, that's too soon." The guy just died in a helicopter, and his daughter has died. And I make the point. I was like, well, there's Chinese people that are dying in real time, and y'all were joking about them.
Come on, like, but people, okay, like let's just be real with each other though. People like have grown up with Kobe, watching him 20-something years. They know who he is. This is not just a random person. You're talking about people that you don't know, never met before, and not gonna meet in your life. It's not the same situation.
I totally understand, but I'm trying to make a culturally relativistic point about how I think one of the chief problems with, and if we could totally understand that there's some cultures that value certain things more than others.
I'm asking you a question. Like before you go there, I'm asking you a question.
Yes.
If your dad dies and I make a toast to him because he got locked up for some criminal action before, right when he dies in front of you, would you feel the same way if I toasted to the people in China?
Some things closer to home, yes, but I don't.
So is your answer yes or no?
I grew up watching Bill Cosby.
Is your answer yes or no?
Yes, but I grew up watching Bill Cosby too, and the moment that I learned what Bill Cosby did, I stopped respecting him, and it changed my whole worldview. I grew up listening to Howard Stern, and the moment I realized the guy was a traitor, I got to write you out of my life, and I was growing up being told that Limbaugh, was a bad person, and now I'm getting appreciation for him. I totally understand, but I'm in terms of the culturally relativistic point. If homosexuality is seen as less than human in other countries, but we value it, the people as people over here, and we don't dehumanize them, I would say that our culture is relativistically better than their culture, wherever that happens to be. And I think when it comes to some of these urban communities, I don't think the value of life is as high as it should be. I'm saying people need to respect people, like in Baltimore. I mean, like it's one thing to placate them. It's another thing to try to get their vote. It's another thing to not be able to solve the murder down the street. It's another thing to not communicate to police and actually step forward.
Well, now we going somewhere else. This is a good topic, but you've been on for a while. I got a lot of calls, man. So I thank you for the call, man. You got to call back next time. We can finish the conversation.
Yeah. Cheers.
All right, now take care.
Be good.
All right. Shout out to the caller. But I mean, come on. Kobe is somebody that people grew up with their whole lives. They, you see this guy all the time. You idolize him. Just because he got accused of a thing does not mean he did it. There's been people that's been locked up, accused of things that they did not actually do. You're innocent until proven guilty. You got to prove the guilt. You can't just say, because there was some blood, that means he raped her because she said it. Anybody could say that. It could have been anything that caused the blood to get there. The question is that he did not answer is, how did the blood get there? If there was blood there, did it come from him striking her, cutting her, shooting her, beating her up? Where did the blood come from? Did it come from him injuring her unintentionally? Was she on her cycle? What was going on that caused the blood to get there? See, these are things you got to talk about when you go to a court. You can't just say coulda, shoulda, woulda. That's not how you get somebody locked up in the court of law. And if it is, we have a very low threshold for getting somebody incarcerated. So, I mean, my thing is you got to be able to prove something, have some evidence. Don't just say, somebody did it. If that's the case, these NBA players couldn't even date. Like, it's so bad now. When you go to LA, like these, even like low-level actors, guys you might see on a commercial for Tide Pods, and I'm being dead serious. I know guys in LA, this is how they do. They have to record each time they have sex with a woman. Like if it's a date, they pick up a girl from the club, they got to record it. They got to make sure that she might have signed an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, just to protect themselves so it ain't no problems with a rape allegation or something like that, because the allegation can damage you even if you didn't do it. Okay, there are some guys who need to get locked up, and you got to be able to put them away forever because of the rapes that they done. Bill Cosby, lock him up forever. But Kobe is an allegation that was not proven. But shout out to the caller. I like opposing views, and he's a good caller. But let me get to the next one. All right.
Hell.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Anthony? It's Ramon. Haven't called you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time, man. How's everything?
Yeah, it's been great. or I should say, it's this inequality has got me down, having gotten my third job since the election in 2016. So, I just get so unequal. I mean, I have gotten 3 jobs, and I think it should be redistributed. So,
No doubt.
I mean, it's awful. I wanted to let you know there's a story I sent you through Skype that I wrote, got shared on National File. I don't know if you know who they are. They're kind of new. So it regards the story that I was working on in 2018 about how a lot of outlets like Rachel Maddow and the Huffington Post smeared some voters for Bernie Sanders. So just take a look at it, share it if you want. It echoes a lot of what's been going on, or I think what's going on right now echoes that time, because you see all these people who they want the Bernie Sanders voters to stay in the Democratic Party, but they don't want him to represent them. All they want is that small donor money. And regardless of, like, I personally, I think if Bernie Sanders was on fire, I'd probably throw him some Purell. But, like, it's ridiculous how the media talks down to his voters, and they say that if you're supporting him, you must be some sort of misogynist, or you, like, low-key live in some sort of shack in the middle of the hills somewhere. And I think it parallels what's happening to the Trump supporters. So, yeah, just take a look at it. Hopefully you like it, because it's a story that never got attention. And one of the people in it, I think, could probably sue Maddow the same way that Nick Sandmann sued NBC and CNN.
Well, yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah, I guess besides that, I mean, I know there's been a lot of rumors that the people who call you, the celebrities, aren't really calling you, and it might be someone else, and some people are alleging it might be me. So I think that's kind of a ridiculous theory, because, I'm not a very good impressionist. And I guess I'll prove that to you now. So, here's my impression of Marco Rubio. Hey, we're doing some votes today. Who wants to start a war?
Yeah, they say that's not really the top tier impression right there.
Okay, I'll give one more shot. Here's Amy Klobuchar. Okay.
Oh man, the bang.
Marco, that's a good idea. And Nancy Pelosi beats Donald Trump every day. So, yeah, those are my impressions, man. I don't know. I think it really, look, if you don't believe that His Holiness the Pope would call Anthony, you don't have faith in humanity. That's all I can say.
That's right.
Right. Anyway, I guess you have other callers, people who are calling in, and, they're going to call you basically some sort of carpetbagger, or they're going to try to promote communism from their public housing flat in the Bronx. So have a good night. And, yeah, really check out that article. It should be on our Skype text feed.
Okay, I'll have to check it out for sure.
All right, have a good night, man.
All right, same to you now.
Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to my man Ramon for the call. I most certainly appreciate him. And thank you all for being here. You guys have been great. Let me get to the next call. 239, you're now on speaker 2.
Public housing flat in the Bronx.
Hey, is this Anthony Brian Logan?
Yes, it is. I got a little bit of feedback in the background. Can you turn speakers down for me?
I'm sorry. I'm listening to your show. I love your show, man. I am so sorry. I just can't believe I got you on the line.
Oh, it's all good, man. I'm glad you're able to call in.
Oh, awesome, man. Awesome. You're taking questions and stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, sure. Whatever was on your mind, politically related, something like that. What's happening?
Well, to start off, I do have a question, but the first thing I want to say is, like, that one guy that was talking about Kobe, because, God, I grew up with Kobe. I love Kobe and everything, right?
Yeah.
and he's talking about consent and you know, and all this and all that. And I heard you guys talking about consent and everything, right? And the one thing that that people don't realize is like, you know, like, yeah, that was all allegations. That wasn't like what you said with what happened with Bill Cosby. You know what I mean? They're two totally, completely different things. You know what I'm saying? And like now the left is talking about like, oh, we need to have consent for everything. We need to have like, you know, like if you're in the bedroom with a girl and she doesn't say specifically yes, then that's considered like rape or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, that kills the mood. You know what I mean? That kills, like, if I have to like court you and then like every time I make a move be like, is it okay if I do this? Is it okay if I do this? Is it okay? You know what I mean? Like that takes away like from like the romance. You know what I'm saying?
1,000%. And she's not going to be into it. You're not going to be into it. And then at a certain point, it's like, okay, should I just go out and pay a hooker or something like that? Like, where's a personal relationships going to be if you got to be doing all this transactional stuff in that situation?
Right. And then they want to bring the law into it. But if you really do your research and look at the law, right? Because I'm a law student, and if you really look at the law, okay, there's an old law that's called Qui tacit consentire videtur, and that's an old Latin law. It's an old ecclesiastic law that says that silence gives consent. And the only place where it's really practiced right now is in like marital institutions when they say, hey, if whoever doesn't want these two to get married, speak now or forever hold your peace. By you holding your peace, you're consenting to the marriage. And so silence gives consent in that area too. A lot of people don't understand that about the law. But anyway, I know you have a lot of callers, so I have one question. It's really a two-part question for you because I really want your opinion on this. One, who do you think is most dangerous to Trump out of all the candidates? That's my first question.
Okay. Now, well, the most dangerous, probably Joe, but he has no
Joe
chance.
Biden?
Yeah, Joe. Yeah, but I mean,
right?
like,
He's falling in the polls, though.
I mean, like, let's be clear. Let's be crystal clear here. Nobody has a chance on the left at all. Let's be clear.
Very true.
But I think Joe will have the most opportunity to be able to beat him because, or to get the most votes, not beat him, but get the most votes because he has name recognition from being with Barack Obama. Bernie Sanders is a little bit too radical. I mean, right now in the primary, what happens is people, they go really radical, really far left to get some of the more rabid voters that are out there on the left. But when it comes time for election, they got to come back to the center because if they still got those same radical ideas, they're going to get hammered and attack ads. So people aren't really going to be enthusiastically voting for them. So you got to come to the center, and Joe Biden has name recognition, is more of a center kind of guy. He has a better chance to get the most votes out of the current Democratic field. But in the primary, he'll do badly.
Yeah, and my biggest fear is Mike Bloomberg because he's going to double up on you know, campaign ads and everything, and he's just going to plaster his name everywhere until people realize who he is. You know what I mean? So that's also my fear is Mike Bloomberg.
Well, nobody knows who he is.
Silently in the shadows right now.
Nobody knows him. Like, he's just a regular. And then also, let's think about it like this: unless you have name recognition, the standard old white guy is not going to work anymore in the Democratic Party on the left. That's because that's what they've created. They've this whole thing about Barack Obama, black this, black that, people of color this, people of color that. They've kind of made that for themselves. When you go out there with an unknown candidate that is not who you say that you want for the party to go forward, it's hard for you to really sell that. But Joe Biden can because, like I said, he has name recognition with Barack Obama. They see him as just being Obama 0.2 or 2.0. But anybody else, nobody has a chance at all. They're all going to get shellacked. But he have the biggest chance to get the most votes.
Gotcha. And my last question, this is a very, very quick one. Because I watch the media all the time and because I watch your channel and stuff and many other channels where they show just how radical and how crazy the left is getting, do you think, in your own opinion, that there may be an assassination attempt or something that crazy if Trump gets reelected on him?
Well, I don't know the answer to that question, but I think people have gotten really crazy, and I think there've, like Steve Scalise got shot, others got shot at that congressional baseball game practice, and I think the security around Trump is airtight. It's really hard to get through it. When they had that event in what was that? In Central Park, the security was airtight. So they had like the whole thing blocked. They had streets in New York down like in Manhattan blocked off with big Jersey walls. So I think everything will be done to make sure that the president is safe. And I don't think anybody that wants to do something crazy is going to have a chance.
Good. I'm glad. And thank you so much, and thank you for doing the channel and everything. And thank you for fighting for the silent voice and for the little guy. You know what I mean? And for giving me something to listen to where I just know I'm not alone in the way I think, because I constantly have to keep my mouth shut with where I live and just everyone around me. You know what I mean?
I'm with you 100%.
Thank you for being the voice of thank you for being the voice of the silent majority.
Well, thank you for the call and your support, man. I definitely appreciate you.
All right. Have a good one.
Same to you. All right. Great call. Good questions. Really, really good questions. Let's get to the next call. And if you don't know, the number to call is 434-658-1220. Let me get to the next call. 702, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, Mr. Logan. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. How's everything?
Fine. First, I want to say that all the men that are calling tonight, your show, apparently are members of the fan club of Pete Buttigieg. Jeez, what a bunch of soft people they are. Okay, I just wanted to say that there's an old saying that a conservative is a liberal that got mugged the night before. There's an old joke. And that's what happened to me. And let me tell a quick story. In San Francisco, there's a coffee shop near the waterfront, and a good friend of mine is a manager there. He's been a manager for 9 years there. A guy crawls in there, coughing like he's got the coronavirus, looking all disheveled. He makes Bernie Sanders look like, a bon vivant there. And he comes in bragging that he's an illegal alien, coughing on the food, demanding free items because he's an illegal alien, saying that it's San Francisco. And my friend tells him, you're coughing all over everybody's food, you need to leave. Well, anyway, this jerk gets a cop. The cop comes in, makes such a big deal that somebody called the corporate office, and within 1 hour, my friend was fired.
Wow.
After 9 years. And this guy gets a free coffee and food, and sitting there with a satisfied smile, bragging that he is an illegal alien to everybody who can hear. Sickening. Sickening, It's as sickening as Pocahontas' war dance. That's how sickening it is. And let me tell you something. I just want to bring up one thing and get your opinion. One thing that disappoints me about Donald Trump lately, and I want to get your opinion on this. When Trump is asked about the coronavirus and how China's dealing with it, Trump says President Xi is doing an outstanding, great job. Unbelievable handling of the coronavirus. And yet, in the Daily Mail today, I don't know if you saw the article, the Daily Mail came out where people are being forced from their homes into camps. They're being barricaded in their apartments. The Chinese have lied from day one about what the numbers are, which could be reported as 10 times higher than 30,000 that are affected. The doctor who blew the whistle mysteriously dies from the disease weeks later. And Donald Trump says the Chinese are handling it beautifully. What is your opinion on that?
Well, I think some of their methods could be criticized for sure. I mean, I saw that video where they were getting dragged from their apartment to quarantine. I did see that. But at the same time, let's put it in context. Wuhan and Hong Kong have a population of about 20 million combined, and the metro area is about 50 million people. So for them to contain the virus, not have it spread in a very densely populated area and become a pandemic to the point where you got like some 28 days later thing going on is good.
But the thing about it is the Chinese have been liars for many years now. Muslims are getting locked up. Whatever, regardless if you think of Muslims, Muslims have over 1 million Muslims are being detained for their religious rights. China has intellectually ripped us off for years and years. And Donald Trump says President Xi is a great president who I work closely with. Come on, give me a break. Look, Trump is not a bad guy, and I know he's a businessman, but not everything in life boils down to business, business, business. There's also human lives to be considered. And I believe that Trump is disingenuous on this one. Regardless of what anybody thinks. And by the way, about Kobe Bryant, look, the man wasn't a god on Mount Olympus, okay? To be honest with you, he had his faults. But gee whiz, I mean, with all these women, including Amber Heard, pinning it on Johnny Depp, laughing at the man, telling him that he's going to be set up, and you get these beta males that are on with you tonight, all these people who say, give him a break. He was a rapist, he was an attackist. How do they know? Were they Kobe's friend? They don't know a darn thing. Women lie through their teeth when it comes to being attacked, and men are the cause of them doing it because they capitulate. These judges agree with people. These men don't fight back. And it's getting to the point where it's really, really getting out of hand. Lastly, Mr. Logan, I want to say one thing. I have a good friend in Nevada right now who's praying on his hands and knees that Elizabeth Warren shows up in Las Vegas because they haven't had rain there for about 45 days, and they're praying to God that she does her war dance so she can actually bring some rain and snow to Mount Charleston, because I'll tell you something, that Indian, she can do wonders. She can change her gender from her ethnicity from white to Indian. She can put a 6-year-old child and appoint her Secretary of State. I'll tell you something, that squaw is right on. And that's all I have to say, and you have a great evening.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, shout out to the caller. Hey, shout out to Live Wather coming through doing the rain dance. Yeah, they might need that down there in Nevada. But yeah, he's right about the whole thing with Kobe. It's like people lie. You can't just say, oh, somebody said something. That means that they actually did it. And there's some sophisticated lies out there. I've seen some crazy lies that you would believe it if it was just presented to you in a certain way. But once you look into it, then it's not true. You can't just lock somebody up. Oh, I think this happened. Maybe, no. Nah, you got to have some real physical, hardcore, concrete evidence. But let me get to the next call. 6.7, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, the caller you was there, he didn't tell you everything about the Twitter, about the tweets from Trump, about the coronavirus. I guess at the end of the tweet, he told President Xi that when the weather warms up, the virus will go away. So Trump saying, in other words, when the warm weather will cure coronavirus. So I just don't know where this guy get these stupid statements, these stupid conclusion. But anyway, I want to talk about, you say that Bernie Sanders is a communist, right?
Yes, 1,000%. Absolutely.
He's a communist. So do we have any other president in the past that been communist in the United States?
I don't know.
We did. According to your assessment, we did. FDR and Hoover. There were two communists.
Okay, so why were they communists?
Well, I mean, FDR taxed at 95%.
95%? Were there any loopholes in the 95%?
No, there was no loopholes.
No loopholes. Okay.
You look at the tax form, was completely simple. No loopholes.
So you only got 5% of your
income back then. In World War II, it demanded GM, all these American car companies to start building tanks, and they control the profit, how much money they will make in profit in the contracts. So the government will confiscate all the money, and the companies will make very little money on profits. So pretty much, so he's a communist then. So we already have communism. Right?
That's an exception for wartime, right?
No. But before the war, it was doing that. He did the New Deal without Congress approval. So he created all these agencies to create all these jobs without Congress approval. So we have a dictator and a communist. Is it right or wrong?
Was what right or wrong?
I'm telling you. I'm asking you. Do we have a dictator already in the United States? Right, dictatorship, because he passed Congress to create a New Deal. He did it without Congress approval.
No, it's not a dictator.
And,
we don't have a dictator, because if he was a dictator,
but that's a dictator,
sir, I'm going to explain. I'm going to answer your question if you let me answer. I don't think it's a dictator, because you still have checks and balances. I mean, if he was a true dictator, he wouldn't have to be trying to divert money from here and there to get the wall built. He would just build it, and there wouldn't be no questions asked. That's a dictator. That's not what Donald Trump is. But go ahead. If he was a dictator, then he wouldn't. If he was a dictator, then he wouldn't get him. Sir, quiet. If he was a dictator, then he wouldn't get impeached. He would just do whatever he wants to do and have that be that. But go ahead.
I didn't say Donald Trump. I say FDR is a dictator and a communist, right?
Oh, according to you, yeah.
So we have a dictator and a communist. So why you?
But still, a dictator. Was there no checks and balances on FDR like any other president?
We have checks and balances, but he passed Congress.
So he could do whatever he did, whatever he wanted with no checks and balances. There was no involvement from the Senate or the House or anything.
Because the depression. That's because the depression. So
okay.
But, my point is, so you are scared about this new communists that are coming now. If Bernie Sanders gets elected, let's say he gets elected, you will scared of these new communists?
Well, am I scared? I'm not scared of anything, but I don't want to have communism. I don't want communism.
Okay, to go back, FDR was not a communist and was not a dictator. I'm just telling you.
Sir, we don't got time for the games. Just say what you want to say. We don't got time to be going through all these little parables.
So he's not a dictator. Bernie Sanders is not a communist. This is your lie. This is just your opinion.
What?
He's not a communist. He's not a communist.
So why is he not a communist?
Because he's not asking for the production of the private sector. He's not a communist.
Okay,
so
now
Sanders is a communist.
Bernie Sanders says
he's not a communist.
Bernie Sanders says that he wants to have no private money in elections. He wants to also come from the government.
Okay, that's another thing. The reason that he say that, because so it is fair for people being in Congress for 20 years to get donation for the big guys, and the ones that want to run and make and change Washington can, because they don't have any money. You complain about Bloomberg having dumped billions of dollars, right? You complain about him, right? You do. Yes or no?
No, I didn't.
You did complain because you said
what did I say?
Trying to buy the presidency, right or wrong?
I never said that.
Radio show.
That's actually a lie.
Now you didn't say.
No, I didn't say that. What I said was that, sir, let me finish. Sir, I'm gonna put you on mute. What I said about Mike Bloomberg is that he has no desire to actually win. He's just in there to bypass the campaign finance law to attack Trump. He's not trying to buy the presidency. Why would I say he's trying to buy the presidency and at the same time say he's not really trying to win? He's not really a serious candidate. He's just trying to bypass the campaign finance law. That's a fact.
I mean, so it will be fair for somebody like Bloomberg to invest a lot of money in campaign ads versus someone that don't have that much money but have the desire to change Washington, can't do it as much as the other one can do because he has more money. For example, a lot of these people in Congress, they bought this compromise. The reason that they bought this compromise because they're so attached to these corporations because they dump money on their campaigns. What he's saying is, if there's no money from all sides of their campaign, people in Congress and the presidents will be more fair and they will make better decisions when they're in Congress.
So you think the government will do better than the private sector? Is that what you're saying?
Listen the point. Listen what I'm
the question was, do you think that the government will do better than the private sector? Is yes or no question?
It has nothing to do. It's a donation.
Sir, the question was, do you think the government will do better than the private sector? That's all.
In what aspect? What aspect will you do
as
better?
Far as funding the campaigns?
Won't make any difference because it's donation.
So if it's not a difference, then why do it?
The reason that they do it, the reason that they don't do it, because it's too. Who's gonna vote for that bill? No one will support that. No one will support.
Okay, so what are we talking about then?
Because my point is that's what he's saying, that it's better if the government fund their campaigns because won't be any outsiders demanding favors when the particular candidate wins the presidency.
So, is it going to be different or
So
not?
you agree those
Sir,
super
you
PACs
just
be giving
said,
money in
sir,
exchange
you're
of their
saying
vote?
different things. First, you were saying it's not going to be a
I didn't
difference.
say any
Sir,
difference.
sir,
That
sir, I'm going to talk. You're going to be on mute. First, I was asking you, what would be the difference between the government funding the campaigns and the private sector? You said no difference. Then you said, oh, the reason why the government would do it is because it'd be fair. So which one is it?
It's fair. We need to have
So,
a fair,
are you changing your answer?
A fair balance in elections, and also we have a better clean Congress
all
and a
right.
president.
Now the next question is, since you said that it would be different and that it would be fair if the government did it, do you think the government would do a better job logistically than the private sector?
What are you talking about, the private sector? That has nothing to do. The private sector is about donations. Donations have nothing to do with work. What are you talking about, bro?
What are you talking about? We're talking about
I'm
funding.
talking about donation. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about campaign funding controlled by the government because there's a limit. Let's say you're running for Congress in ABC area.
No. So you're wrong. You're
That's
wrong.
what he
Wait. Stop. Bernie said that he does not want private money in the whole thing. He wants it to be from the public money. That's what he said on the campaign. That's what he said on the stage.
You know what campaign is? You know what a campaign funding is?
Yes, I do know what campaign funding is. It can come from the private sector or the public sector.
That's
See,
what I'm saying.
he said he wants it to be no private money, only public money. Do you think that the government would do better at that than the private sector?
What the hell are you talking about, bro?
Are you dumb or what?
Better will be more fair and balanced than having the private sector.
So you think the government would do a better job than the private sector?
So why you think people in Congress have been there for 20 years, 30 years? Why you think is that?
Because in no term limits.
One reason because term limit. The other reason because they're well connected with corporations. Why you think when Ilhan Omar talk about the Benjamin babies, people got upset? Because the super PAC that use control in Congress. That's what they're talking about. So that means if I give you money for your campaign, that means you owe me a favor if you win. And then what happens as soon as you win? I will connect you with wealthy people surround you that will give you money for your campaign from now on until whatever happens, until you lose. That you most likely you won't lose because you have a lot of money for advertisement. You have a lot of money to pay people on your campaign. You will put others in disadvantage.
All right, so we're getting to the end of your sir. I know. It's my show. Just relax. We're getting to the end of your time. I'm going to the next call. So wrap it on up right now. 10 seconds.
So it's not a communist. Stop saying it's a communist.
Oh, it is.
It's not a communist. The dude is not a communist.
I'm going to continue to say that because he is a communist. Is what
he is.
Well,
that's your opinion, but that's your opinion.
A socialist. He's a self-described democratic socialist. So it's the same thing as communism. It's just the next step up. Controlling the elections from the federal government, all these things, Medicare for all, single payer. That's all communist stuff, man. It's been tried. It's been done. Don't work. But thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. All righty, let's get to the next call. And you guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Thank you for listening to the show. If you are watching on YouTube, please hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe. I definitely appreciate that. And if you're listening on audio streaming platforms, please share it, like it, however you can over there. If you can review it as well. And if you don't know, if you just came into the show recently, this show you're listening to right now on YouTube will be available on audio streaming platforms. There's a link in the box that I have that goes to the streaming platforms. And if I could put it in the chat box right now on YouTube, I'll do that. Right now, it's on Anchor FM and Spotify, but it will also be on a bunch of other platforms. I think Apple and Google and Stitcher and whatnot. So definitely check it out. This show you're listening to right now will be uploaded on Monday morning, and the Wednesday show will be uploaded on Friday morning as an audio podcast. These shows will still be the same time, same place, every Wednesday and Saturday live on YouTube. They'll just be uploaded later as an audio podcast on the streaming platforms. But let me get to the next call, and that will be 763. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yes, this is Ann.
All right, I got a little bit of feedback in the background. Turn the speakers in the background for me, please.
I'm sorry.
All righty, what's going on?
Just calling in to ask about the Democrats and their corruption.
Oh, go for it.
Okay. Just wondering if anybody has watched the Glenn Beck program on Ukraine's final peace. I'm wondering about that.
I've not seen that, but it sounds interesting.
That is something that a lot of people have to watch, and what it says is that $1.8 billion disappeared of United States tax dollars in 2015 with the Obama and Biden administration, and that it was filtered into a bank and then money laundered out through. And I'm just here to say, Americans, please watch this program. And if you can go on it and all that. And then the other thing that I wanted to say was, are you aware that they have found out that the campaign manager of Buttigieg, his wife is the owner of the app that was ran in the Iowa caucus? That has just came out recently.
Well, I didn't even know that. I mean, but that's not surprising because Buttigieg also gave money to it.
That is correct. He also gave money to it. So
yeah.
So how did he come up low and all of a sudden make it to the top? You know what I mean?
Right.
They're all crooked. Americans got to open their eyes. And I think why they're going after Trump so bad is because of this money laundering with the U.S. tax dollars started in 2015. And if you can watch the Ukraine, the final piece on Glenn Beck and report it to your people, I follow you all the time. You're doing an awesome job.
Well, I thank you for the call and your very kind words. I definitely appreciate you.
Okay, I appreciate you too. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, the whole thing with Buttigieg, all the corruption, that's definitely a big situation on the left. And government in general, it's a swamp. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, you want to have the government be in control of the actual campaigns and fund it. So you know how corrupt they are right now. Will that go away when you give them control over the, come on, like let's use our thinking caps for a moment. Let's just think for a minute. 812, you're in the line. Who am I speaking to?
That's what I'm saying. So it's like,
812.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, shoot. Hold on.
you know how corrupt they are, right?
Hello?
Yeah, 812. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Oh, man, my brother put me on the spot. He just called you. He was listening to you. I wasn't expecting for my brother to call you.
Oh, it's all good, man.
But, yeah, man, it's great to finally talk to you. I've been listening to you for a couple years now.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm in New Jersey right now, and the gun laws is crazy out here, where somebody can come in your house and they can come in your house, but you can't shoot them. You can't use your gun. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, that's wild. So you don't have any kind of castle doctrine or anything like that out there?
Nope.
Yeah, that's crazy. See, where I'm at in Tennessee, you not only have castle doctrine, you can bring a gun in your car with no license or nothing, because that's also part of your castle. So yeah, we can protect ourselves out here, and it's kind of common sense. I mean, if they come to my house, I didn't invite them. They wish me harm. You might have kids in their house. You need to be able to shoot them and end the threat right there. So not being able to defend yourself, it's like, why even have a gun? What's the point?
You can have the guns for decoration.
Pretty much, right?
Yeah. But dang. I mean, I didn't really have nothing to talk to about. I wasn't expecting my brother to just pick up the phone and call you. But I'll call you again another time.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
All right.
All right, now.
Peace.
All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, call again sometime. It's all good, man. Call in whenever you want. Hold on. 623 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, this is Bob from Arizona.
All righty, Bob. What's going on?
Well, I'm watching your live ABL live on YouTube, and I'm a 73-year-old retired Air Force officer, and you're one of the sites that I routinely check because I really enjoy the way you do things very succinctly and did a little bow on top, and that's greatly appreciated. Trump is just driving the Democrats crazy, and that's absolutely wonderful.
Hold on, caller. I got a little bit of feedback in the background. Can you turn your speakers down for me?
Yeah, I did.
All righty.
And I think that Trump's really driving the Democrats crazy, and I absolutely applaud him for it, as well as all the other things he's taken on and the fights he's waged and the results that he's getting. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening to you.
Oh, okay. I have a question for you. Do you think Hillary is actually just kind of manipulating these things to set it up so there'll be a hung convention and she has to, be called forth to save her party again?
That's a good question, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think that Hillary Clinton would want to be in the race right now, but she knows that she's not going to actually physically be able to be in the race because last time, it looked bad. She was getting dragged about literally. I think she thinks she won't be able to make it. It was like Weekend at Bernie's, so I don't think she would actually go through that again physically because she can't make it. But she wants to be there for sure. And I'm seeing her still kind of floating around, giving little interviews and talks and whatnot. But to do a full campaign, being out there running and gunning the way they were in 2016, she's not built for it. If she was not built for it in 2016, she won't be 4 years later in 2020.
No, they were having to throw her into her truck and carry her to her little waiting hospital that she had set up and the whole deal. Poor thing, but Well, in any case, it's good talking to you. I just wanted to tell you how much I really appreciate your YouTubes, and you're right on as far as I'm concerned, as far as the topics you pick and the way you handle them. Thank you again.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. I most certainly appreciate him. 619 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, well, I wasn't expecting to get online. How are you? I'm a little nervous, but I actually wanted to talk about, Nancy Pelosi ripping up the documents. Are you still there?
I'm here. It's all good. It's all good. I'm right here with you.
Okay, sorry. So I'll say anonymous for now, but so Nancy Pelosi ripping up the documents, do you think that there should be any repercussions for her doing that?
Well, I'm not really sure what the penalty would be legally, but there should be something for sure, because if there's a legal penalty that says you can't do X, Y, and Z, then you can't just do whatever you want to do. Like you did it on TV in front of everybody trying to make a statement. That's different than an allegation. Maybe you did something, maybe you didn't. Yeah, but I don't know what the actual penalty would be legally.
Okay. So I was saying that Matt Gaetz was actually trying to muster up some kind of ethical penalty for that, and I don't know if there are any laws for that, but I think he's working on something along that lines of actually making her pay for what she did, basically.
Okay. Yeah, I think there might be a legal thing, like a precedent that's already out there, like an actual statute that says you can't do that. So if she's able to get convicted on that, then, it is what it is. But if not, then, no big deal.
Right. All right. Thanks.
I thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it. Call back soon.
All right, bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Let me get to the next call here. 70. Uh-oh. I had 704, but I didn't. Okay. There we go. 704, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey. Oh. Crap. Okay, so there's like a delay here. So
yeah, there's a delay.
That.
Do not watch the stream. Turn it down. You can talk to me on the phone. We good.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, my name is Rob. So I just want to say I love your channel ahead of time. I've been watching you for a while. You know, I heard some, you know, talk about Andrew Yang before, and kind of hurts my heart a little bit because I do really like the guy. I know I'm going to get some hate on this channel for saying this, but, you know, I do think he's a good guy. I think he's got a lot of good ideas from a conservative point of view. And, you know, I just kind of wanted to see what your feelings were on this, because I do think as a conservative, I think he's probably the best bet next to all the other guys in the Democrats. Maybe you don't vote Trump, or I mean, maybe you vote Trump, maybe you don't. But as far as Trump versus whoever, I think that Andrew Yang is going to be the best, because in my opinion, it's a win-win situation. And I kind of wanted to like talk about a few things that I think he has that, you know, maybe as a conservative, you don't like all the things, but, you know, especially him being a Democrat and all, but as, you know, like universal basic income, I think can do some things like for example, number one, unlike current welfare programs, it's for everyone. Number two, since it replaces current welfare programs, it kind of spreads the wealth out to everybody. And
spreading the wealth, man. You kind of off to a bad start, man. Spreading the wealth. I'm getting triggered.
No, I don't mean. Okay, so think about. Hold on, sorry. I don't mean to trigger you, but think about this. Our current welfare system, as we all know, was designed by Democrats to keep people at the lowest income, right? The incentive, number one, is to keep people down, right? How hard is it for someone that's getting food stamps, that's getting money from the government, to get a job and start making money? They're going to rip that Band-Aid off. They're going to take that away from you. People stay in this low income level and they never get out of it. They don't want to get a job. They don't want to make money. They don't want to claim money. They don't want to pay taxes. They work under the table because they want to keep that money. I know many, many people like this. How many people do you know like this?
Well, that's common. That's like a normal everyday thing.
Yeah, that's a normal everyday thing. Think about it. If you take that away and say everybody gets $1,000 a month, Mike Bloomberg gets $1,000 a month. This guy down the street who's lost all his limbs, he barely can do anything. You know, Vietnam vet, whatever. You know, needs the help. Yeah, he's got all kinds of other support, but I mean, not really. Not in this world. It could help. You know, and there's no ceiling where you get cut off. I think a lot of people would get a job because they can and earn more. On top of that, like, I'm a business owner. I hate the Democrats with a passion. I'm serious. I really hate them. I hate everything about them. I want to tear them out from the inside. The current Democrat Party needs to be demolished. And I do like Trump. I like Trump and what he's doing. But I think the only way that we can get away from this me versus you attitude is to have somebody that is, you know, the only way to get from this attitude is like, you know, to change them from within, to change their mind. They didn't learn their lesson in 2016. They need to learn their lesson in 2020. And they need to lose again, or they need to have someone from the outside come in and realize that there's a different way to do things.
Okay, I got to jump in. I got to jump in here because Now you're saying everyone gets UBI. I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
How much is it going to
Sure.
cost? How much is it going to cost? First of all,
It's going to cost. Okay, first of all, it's going to cost about $3 trillion. Okay, you realize we spend
now when you say
$1.5 trillion.
when you say it'll cost $3 trillion, is that per year?
That is, I think that's per year. Yes.
Yikes!
And I do realize, I do realize that our current, what is our current budget? Like 4.5 trillion, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So, do you realize 1.5 trillion is in current welfare benefits?
So you're gonna double
50% of. No. This doesn't go on top of food stamps. This doesn't go on top of housing. This is replacing it.
Yeah, I understand. So you're gonna double it. You're gonna double the current budget for
No,
welfare.
you're not. Right. But everybody gets it. So let's say you pay $6,000 a year in taxes. A person that makes $70 grand a year, let's say you pay $6 grand in the taxes that it takes, which the taxes are going to be a value added tax, which is basically a
VAT tax.
sales
Yikes!
tax. Oh, but hold on. If you, a normal person, if you calculate what you spend every year, if you make about 70 grand a year and you buy a normal amount of stuff, you might spend maybe 6 grand, right? But you're going to get 12 grand a year. Okay? So the average, like the vast majority, like 90% of Americans out there are going to see a net increase. Okay?
Okay, I have more questions. I have more questions. So we got limited time.
Sure.
So
yeah, ask away. Sure.
It says it's going to cost $3 trillion, although you only currently spend about 1.5 on welfare benefits. So we're going to double that budget expense right there. So are we going to raise taxes to pay for this?
Not income tax, a value added tax.
So we're going to raise taxes by adding a new tax.
Right, but the reason the value added tax is better than income tax is because income tax is nearly it's so easy to gain.
So hold on.
So
Are we going to replace federal income tax, or are we going to add on to it with the VAT tax?
I think you would add on to it.
Okay,
as far
so
as I'm aware.
Right. So I mean, comparing it to the federal income tax is unimportant because you're still going to keep the federal income tax. I could see if we were going to replace it, but that's not what's happening. We're adding on to it. Okay, but
I would like to replace it altogether.
Right,
I would like to remove the income tax and replace it altogether. But I do think that
I got you. But hold on, we got limited time. So my next thing would be about this whole thing of, well, people would get a job if they were able to get a job. The people that I know, that I grew up around, that I've seen that get this free money, they have no desire to work. They have no desire to work because they're already getting paid. What they need to work for, and they can live on a little bit of money. See, to people like yourself and myself, $1,000 a month is not that much. We want to be able to, do more. I was making that working in a restaurant when I was like 16, washing dishes. You know what I'm saying? So okay,
it's not a job replacement. It's not.
I
understand. And that's not going to change.
I understand, but check it out though. But check it out. A lot of people are not going to work, period. If they're getting $1,000 a month, they'll finagle that to make it work. Then you still have programs. Are you still going to keep Section 8 around?
I'm not aware of that.
See,
that
Section
I'm
8.
Not sure. I think that's a state thing, isn't it?
It might be. Now, do you know how much a person's rent could cost on Section 8?
I'm not aware of that. I'm not too familiar with that. I
$50.
I'm an architect.
$50.
So it's like, I know Section 8 is, I know a little bit about it. Yeah.
$50 US for rent, and you can live in the 4-bedroom home, all that good stuff. $50, maybe $200. Like, the government pays the majority of the rent. You pay a little bit on the back end. So you still got Section 8. People are going to finagle the system. And then on top of that, since everybody gets this amount of money, that's going to be the new floor upon which goods and services are now. So you're going to have the cost of living rise because everybody has this new influx of money. Then you're going to have inflation. But it's not really going to, for people like me, I'll have more money because I'm a always work, I'm a always grind. But the people that are on welfare, we're trying to get away from that system, are not going to just all of a sudden become entrepreneurs, a lot of them are still going to be living the same way they did before. It's a system of dependence and not having a desire to work, getting free things from the government that has them right there where they are. That's the bigger problem. We got to end this welfare state, even if it's UBI, if it's WIC, TANF, SNAP, Section 8, all that stuff is bad, in my humble opinion. What do you think?
I completely agree with you. Okay, here's the thing, though, and I want you to be honest. I agree with you. We have to end the welfare state. It's terrible. But can you imagine how that's going to happen? Okay? Think about it. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get these people to go get jobs. You would have to have a Republican president and Congress, and even then, you really think it's going to happen with all the media and the protests and everything else?
Well, I'll tell you what,
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to be an overnight thing because it was not an overnight implementation. It's going to take a while to kind of phase away or to reduce. We keep some
safety. And even then, even then, really should we? Because yes, there are going to be people that
well, I'll finish right quick. I'll finish right quick.
Yeah.
Now, the exception would be for those that are just actually in need. I'm talking about people that elderly people that blind, deaf, people that are disabled, stuff like that. But if you are able-bodied adult, that needs to be not an option. That's the issue right now. Able-bodied adults not working, dependent upon the government to fund their lifestyle, living really low, not really having any kind of aspirations to do anything else because they have their lifestyle funded. But hey, this has been a great conversation, but my time is really limited. I'm sorry. Call back again, man. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Hey, I hope you take some time to look into it, and I do appreciate you thinking about it. But I do think it's something that could revolutionize the way we do things here. That's just all I got to say is look into it.
All right. Thank you for the call.
All right. Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. But yeah, man, it's like UBI is just welfare by a different name. Because you still getting paid. No, I'm not a fan. All right, Jordan, what's happening?
All right. Hey, ABL, you can hear me?
I hear you well.
ABL. Okay, that's good. Everything going well?
Everything is good, man. Can't complain.
That's good. Hey, you know what's going on in San Francisco right now?
Nah, what's happening?
The guy who heads San Francisco Public Works, he's the guy who pretty much oversees all the feces and needles cleanup. His name is Mohammed Nuru.
Okay.
He got arrested and for suspicion of bribes, and feds charged him with fraud.
Wow. But I mean, the thing about it is those guys doing that job, picking up the doo-doo and the needles, are getting paid like buku dinero. I'm talking about big bucks, big bank. So my question would be, why is he engaging in corruption? I don't understand.
I don't understand either. I mean, from my understanding, the schemes include an envelope of cash. You got some fraud city contracts. You got gifts from a Chinese developer. And then the last one was like a $2,000 bottle of wine.
Stupid stuff. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. People talking about, oh, the government, they can do a good job running elections. It's like, come on, man, the government, city, you have corrupt people that are placed into power, and then they do corrupt things. So you can't really trust them to do certain stuff. Now, was that a city employee or a private company?
City employee. I think it was a city employee.
Yeah, that's most likely, because if you get in bribes and stuff, that's not like a government type of thing.
Yeah, that isn't. But yeah, there we go. Yeah, it is bad. When they had the presidential debate in Los Angeles, authorities had to clean up the area around it, which is kind of a rarity for them because a lot of press would be there, and just the press seeing all that would not make it look good. So they were forced to clean that up.
That's crazy. But hey, that's how they do.
And I was thinking, you said Yang mentioned, because I didn't watch the debate. I'm sick of watching these debates.
Are you?
When Yang mentioned the whole private drug injecting facilities, I was thinking he just wants the government, the country to be California.
Basically, I mean, that's what they're doing. I mean, that's the craziest thing I've heard, and I don't want to live next to no dope house. I'm sorry. I know it's not very inclusive of me, but I think that I would not want to live right there.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Yeah, it is sad. I think California just this beginning of this year passed about 1,200 laws. One of them being that you can't use, I think in San Francisco specifically, you can't use no more than 55 kilograms of water, which is, I think, the equivalent of, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be wrong on this, which is the equivalent of a shower and a load of laundry. And anything over that, you pay this big fine. And then another one is detention is over in school. So if your child acts up in school, you got to get picked up by your parents, which is going to cause problems because that means your parents can't work, and just a boatload of other problems. But yeah, it's just sad. And Pelosi, oh boy, she wants to get mad and rip up State of the Union speeches, and then has no care for her district whatsoever.
Right. I mean, it's all political games. It's not really real. And I don't understand what the actual end game is for these individuals and what they're doing. I just don't really get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like they're just wasting people's time and money intentionally at this point.
Right.
About Iowa, it'd be interesting. Part of me doesn't like Pete Buttigieg is like the de facto winner of Iowa, even though officially no one has won the Iowa caucus yet. And Tom Perez wants to do a recanvass of the whole thing. That whole thing was embarrassing in itself. But,
yes,
I don't like the prospect of a president whose name has the word "but" in it, or you can pronounce it booty, like booty judge.
Right. Going
around asking President Booty Judge. That's just going to be hilarious. But you don't think? You don't feel as though Pete has any chance at winning the presidential election at all?
You said what now?
You don't think Pete has any chance of winning the presidency, do you?
Nah. Nobody on the left doesn't have a chance at all. Nobody has a chance. I mean, think about it like this. Okay, Hillary Clinton really and truly was stronger in 2016 than anyone is on the left right now. Okay, than anybody. She had all the cachet. She had the name being from the Clintons. She had everything, secretaries, all of that stuff in her bag. Okay, could go out there and speak when she wasn't coughing to death, but different story. I'll move on. She was a strong candidate. Nobody is as strong as she was then, but yet she still lost. And now Trump is the incumbent. He has a higher approval rating. The economy's doing well. Race relations are doing well. We don't have race riots and whatnot Barack Obama had back in 2014-15. Things are going well. So how can anybody win? And then on top of that, they have these really extreme views. Most Americans, left or right, are just center of the road kind of normies. So when they go out there and vote and they see a gay married man, that's going to be a problem. When they go out there and vote and they see a straight communist talking about no private insurance, government will run your elections, that's going to be a problem. When I see Pocahontas out there talking about, I'm native, although she's white as snow, it's going to be a problem. So they just don't have enough to gain them any kind of serious interest with people that's going to be enough to be able to take over the incumbent who's doing well.
Yeah, pretty much. I got a couple things before I go because I don't want to waste too much of your time. But about the Cortez comments, this is going to be crude, but I mean, I don't care.
Be careful. Careful now.
Okay. Cortez is essentially a bimbo.
Okay.
Is that fine?
Okay.
She's just not, it's like the dumb commentary she makes, and it's like for some reason she always gets a pass from it. You know what the most ironic thing about the whole game show thing she said, saying Trump giving black people money to come to his rallies and describing it as a game show. You know the most ironic thing about that is?
What's that?
Her whole platform revolves around giving people free stuff.
Well, yeah, pretty much from the government only. Not to be able to go out there and get a job like the ones from Amazon, 25,000 jobs she ran off, not from the private sector, but from the government only. And you're right about that. Healthcare for all, Green New Deal, all this, that, and the third. Robbing from the rich, giving to the poor. So everybody can be poor and she can be rich.
Because she's actually pretty attractive, but she's absolutely retarded. It's just unbelievable. It's just shy. It's amazing. Because she has no proof of any of that. I'm sick of people thinking that if the other side supports something, then it's because they were paid to support it. It's just, I get sick of that explanation. It's just a cop-out for having to actually explain why they believe so and so about people.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, Don't Walk Run Productions is in your chat. What's up?
All righty. Shout out to them.
And then last about Kobe, and then I'll head out. It's really sad that people are bringing up this assault allegation that Kobe has. I remember the day he died, I was on the internet, and then hours after the crash happened and he was reported dead, reported deceased along with his daughter, an article came out of nowhere about the sexual assault allegation. And I was like, God dang, man. Y'all are just vultures trying to eat up.
As soon as the plane crashed, the helicopter crashed, immediately, rapists.
I know, it's just awful. I hate that when that happens a lot. It's just that was already done and said long ago. All the information was out then, and now we have a tragic passing of a widely known figure, someone that has inspired many people like myself and you, and you start doing this. It's just ridiculous.
That's right.
All right. Well, I'm gonna head out. Peace. Don't Walk Run Productions. Peace, chat, and peace, ABL.
All right. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Not a problem.
Peace. All right. Thank you to my man Jordan for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And thank you all for being here. You guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. All righty. Let me get to my next call. 718, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? All right, 718, don't get cold feet now. It's all right. It is all right, boss. Let's go to... Hold on. Did I answer this one already? Okay. So, 203, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Precious from Connecticut.
All righty. What's going on?
Hi. First, I just want to say that I love your show, and I'm a subscriber. And second, I just got here not too long ago, so I don't know if y'all touched on the AOC comment about pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Oh, no, that's a good one, though. We did not talk about that yet.
Okay, so does she realize that's a figure of speech?
Right.
I just want your thoughts on that, because she's just not intelligent at all. I just would love to hear your thoughts on that, and that's it. I'm not gonna hold you because I know other people are calling, but I would just like to hear your thoughts on that.
Okay.
Now, okay.
All right. All right. I mean, you're gonna stay on the line. Or you're gonna okay. Now.
No. I'm gonna hang up so other people can call, but okay. I'm just gonna wait to hear your thoughts on that.
I got you. All right.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you for the call.
All right. Okay.
All right. I was confused for a minute, but anyway, now this is funny because I kind of was thinking about this a little bit. Now, if you don't know, AOC had some kind of little talk, or I don't know what it was. Was it a speech or interview or Instagram, something? And she was saying that it's impossible to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Like, it's just not a possible thing to do because your boots, they're on your feet. I got my boots over there, but this will work. So your boots on your feet, right? And then they got the laces. If the boot is on your foot, you can't pick yourself up by your boots. Like, it's not a possible thing. And the reason why she was saying that is because the whole thing about doing that, being somebody that can do for yourself and, pull yourself up by your bootstraps it's just not a possible thing to do. You can't do it. You know, when you're born a certain way, you're going to be that way, or people are in poverty, just going to be there, that type of thing. That's pretty much what I got from it. But it's crazy because her whole story is about this humble girl from the Bronx that was a bartender and then became a congresswoman. That's what the story was, right? So didn't she pull herself up by the bootstraps? Not literally, obviously, AOC, but didn't she do it figuratively? Oh, my dad passed away, and rest in peace to him. Not trying to make light of that, but her father passed away. They were struggling with money. She was a bartender. You come from humble beginnings. You had some adversity in your life, and then you were able to come from that and now be a congresswoman, talking before Congress, talking before the entire nation, having a bunch of followers on Twitter. That's a very important thing, social media currency. I'll move on. She pulled herself up by the bootstraps. So why would she say that somebody else couldn't do it? Why would she say that you can't do it? It's the same thing from the left I always see. Do as I say, not as I do. I can pull myself up, but you, no, that's not for you. You need me. That's what you need. You need me. You need me to give you all this money, all this and that. You don't need jobs. So Amazon, 25,000 jobs. Nope, we don't need that. We don't want to empower anybody so they can pull themselves up by the bootstraps. You need me to give you welfare and various forms. So yeah, that whole thing was crazy. I might even do a video about that one because that whole thing was a total mess. So shout out to the caller. That was a very good question. I had not talked about that before. Alrighty, let's get to the next call. Nippin'. What's going on, man?
They arrived early at the station. Thomas, where have you been lately?
You disrespect me, I disrespect you.
That's right. That's right. All day long.
It works both ways. Let me just shut my other thing off. My other phone. It was playing in the background.
All right. We got okay. I'm gonna put you on mute for now until you get it fixed. All right, you good? You good, money? Alrighty. All right, good money.
So yeah, am I off mute?
Oh, you on, man? You good to go, man? You loud and clear.
Yeah, I stayed up all night to watch the State of the Union.
Right.
And to see Nancy Pelosi do that, I'm sorry, but that is a disgrace.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, but you know what? That whole thing was planned and calculated, of course, just trying to get back at Trump, trying to be petty. She had the sheets pre-ripped, and she practiced it before she actually ripped it.
That was... She I bet you any money she had 2 copies, and she staged one of them to prove a point.
That's right.
Yeah, now I've got a jigsaw for my nephew to make. And then I can tell him when he's old enough what a crook she was.
There it is, 100%.
So yeah, you know how we're fuming about how Nancy Pelosi ripped up the script? Now, would Paul Ryan have done the same?
Oh, nah, Paul Ryan wasn't even, he was a milquetoast. Like, he wasn't doing nothing like that.
So yeah, look, I'm all for working across party lines, but only if the problem is they don't want to work with us. We are fine with working with them.
Right.
So yeah.
100%. I mean, the thing about it is, I think they just have one objective. They're one-track minded. They don't want to actually get anything done. They just want to get the president removed from office by any means necessary. So if they can, try to impeach him, try to throw the whole Russia thing going on, whatever they can, they want to get him out of office.
Yeah, and they're just looking for excuses. Look, there excuses. There is no climate change. There is no Russia.
That's right.
Oh, and this comment that Candace Owens made about black Trump supporters being paid.
No. AOC. Wait. AOC did it.
So yeah, I got mixed up.
Right.
Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, I'm sorry. No, we don't get paid. I'm not being paid to speak to you.
Right. Now I'm with you 100%. I mean, and you know that whole thing. That's the argument I always hear. Are you just being paid to be a Trump supporter? It's like, man, it's not even about that. It's about me just being myself. Like, I brought myself to YouTube because I felt like people were needing to hear a voice like myself. I thought it was unique, so it was like, it just made sense, you know, because if it's about making money, you can be on the left and make plenty of money. Like I said before, there's a guy that's a black guy. He does speeches about how bad white privilege is all across the nation. He gets paid 80 grand per month to do it. So
what? 80 grand per month?
Per month.
I don't even earn that in a year.
He earns that per month. So it's a lot of money on the left and social justice. Matter of fact, I saw one story. It was crazy. There are white women paying black women to have dinner with them and to tell them how racist they are.
Yeah. I mean, if I was paid a dime for every lie Joe Biden told me, I would have enough money to buy my whole street. I would have enough money to buy the whole of Los Angeles Boulevard and turn it into my own private racetrack.
That's right. You know, getting that Hunter Biden, you know, he's getting the same 80 grand. I don't know where the 80 grand factory is on the left, but I like to know where it is and how to get all his money together. He's getting paid 80 grand to do nothing. Talking about, he's on the board of the Burisma Holdings, and that's an energy company. This guy was discharged from the military for being the dope fiend, but yet you go on this board and make way more than you did in the military every month. It's crazy, but that's how the left is, how corrupt they are, and how much money they get over there to engage in their corruption.
Yeah, and I go to a gym, and I know a member there who hates Trump, who is a full-blown Trump hater, who will hate everything he does, basically a social justice warrior. But he is actually, get this, and when I came out as a Trump supporter, you would have said, never speak to me. He was actually okay to have a friendly debate with me.
Right.
I mean, despite the fact that we are completely opposite in terms of political views, he was completely okay with it. He was like, you have your view, I have mine. I mean, he was a leftist. He wouldn't have agreed with anything you said, and he was fine to debate me without. And we're still, gym. We still speak to each other whenever I go to the gym.
That's right.
And yeah, I like the way that you take on, that Ivan guy.
Yeah, shout out to Ivan.
Yeah. I like the way that you disagree with pretty much everything he says, yet you still have him on the show. Now imagine if it was a radical leftist in your place and they got someone like yourself or me on their show, and we started saying, we've been cut off
immediately.
Like this.
Immediately.
Like this.
You get blocked immediately, cut off immediately. There would be no more from us on their show. That's kind of how they operate. Matter of fact, I'm on Twitter and I'm engaged in the conversation. I might say one thing, I'm blocked right away.
Look, I am fine to have a debate with a leftist, so long as they don't... Look, I respect you. This is what I've been taught in life, and this is what I impose on others. No, sorry, not impose, that's the wrong word. But you know what I mean.
Right.
I respect you, you respect me. You respect me, I respect you.
Right, that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it is. I mean, if we got that respect level there, then it's all good. We don't got to worry about anything else. We can, just have our disagreements and talk about it as human beings.
Yeah. So finally they're out of the. Yeah. Even here, like a lot of the so-called working class supporters, they're multi-millionaires. Did you see that clip of that protester outside Westminster saying she wishes a horrible death to all Conservatives and Boris Johnson? And then in the same sentence, she said she wants to be a doctor. I'm sorry, I wish you a horrible death, but I want to be a doctor.
It's like, well, if you wish a horrible death, that's not very safe. I would not feel safe in your exam room, ma'am. So I think you should just not do that or not be a doctor.
Do you want to hear something even more crazy? She then said, the way he treats working class people, and then it's disgusting. So, like, in a way she said, oh, working class people, it's disgusting. I'm sorry. How can you say you're for the working class people and then say disgusting at the same time? You're basically a snob. Sorry for my shouting.
Oh, it's all good, man. Don't even worry about it. You just, you in the moment.
Yes. So yeah. I'm sorry. I don't care how ill I am. If I see that woman anywhere near me in the waiting room, I would go to the next hospital. I'm like, I don't care. I do not want her examining me.
I'm with you on that, man, 100%. Man, hey, it's been a great call as always, but I got to get to the next one. I thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
I shall see you. I don't know if I'm... Yeah, if I'm in on work on Thursday, I'll see you on Sunday. If I'm not, I'll see you both Thursday and Sunday.
Alrighty.
But it's most likely going to be Sunday.
And that'll be Wednesday my time, Saturday your time. I mean, Wednesday my time and Saturday my time. Thursday your time, Sunday your time. Got it. Alrighty.
Yeah. Actually, now that I remember, I actually do have work on Thursday, so I'll see you on Sunday.
Got you.
Yeah, I'll see you then.
Alrighty, man. Appreciate the call.
Peace.
Peace. All right. Shout out to my man Nippin for the call. I thank him for calling in, and shout out to all the callers. We got about a few minutes left. The show is always from 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern, and thank y'all for being here. I most certainly appreciate you. Shout out to Don't Walk, Run Productions. I see your channel, man. I'm going to check you out and see what you got going on over there, boss. But thank you for joining the stream, man. I definitely appreciate you. And let's go to 256 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Amanda.
All righty, Amanda. What's going on?
Oh, I'm so nervous. Hi, how are you?
Everything is great. Can't complain.
Okay, I'm just calling in about, like, the global warming aspect.
Alrighty.
Okay. How do we know that we're actually going through, like, a global warming? Because you got to think about it. Like, the Earth completes its cycles in, like, 26,000 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's to say that this hasn't already happened, like, thousands of years ago, and it's just going through, like, its normalcy? You know, sort of like the summertime, and you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because they had this, like, freezing time and all this kind of stuff. So that kind of stuff just, like, blows my mind a little bit because people don't look into that very much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like they take whatever they get from people. They're talking about, it's an overwhelming consensus. They're not talking about how the so-called consensus came to be, how the list of the so-called scientists were curated, people were excluded, and then you got to talk about those that are not in the consensus that were included in the study. The question is, why is their work being totally ignored? You know, so it's kind of a religion for people to believe in, and also kind of a big money-making scheme, in my opinion.
I do believe, like, the money-making scheme, because, I mean, I learned this in just, like, an astronomy class in, like, a college, and it's in all the books to where it goes through its cycles just like a year, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, that's all I have to say. I'm so excited I got to talk to you. You're awesome.
Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Have a good night.
Same to you.
Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. Yeah, the global warming thing, I think, is a big hoax. It's not really a real thing. It's all about just trying to get money. Donate to a church of Al Gore. Text all your cash in your pocket to Al Gore, and I'll make the rain fall from the sky, and I'll make the hot weather become cold again. But let's get back to the next call. 718 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, it's Andrew from Don't Walk Around Productions.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Yeah, first of all, I'm a big fan. I've been subscribed to you for a while. Well, on my personal YouTube, not my channel YouTube. But I guess I just wanted to say hi. I wanted to I guess, talk about how I know you're about to close up shop. But, it's just crazy how there's no front runner in the Democratic run for presidency. It's so fractured, and this is all thanks to Bernie Sanders from 2016, and it's just carrying over now. And all of his policies have just pushed everybody so far left. I mean, who would think that we would be arguing about stopping, saying that a wall is racist, that a border wall is racist, arguing that, yeah, we need to let people in prison, even the Boston bomber, even people who've committed sexual assault, we need to let them vote. They have a right to vote. It's bizarre. We are in legit clown world right now. And I just wanted to ask, who do you think is going to be the ultimate front runner as far as the Democratic side in 2020?
It's really hard to tell. Like, at first I was saying Joe Biden would be the guy. It kind of made sense because of all the, the Obama affiliation, the ability to raise money just from him being him, having that name. But now I can't really tell. I mean, Buttigieg might come in there. Bernie Sanders may come in there. But I thought that it didn't want Bernie as far as the DNC is concerned in 2016. So I can't really call it. I think it's looking like they might try to put Buttigieg, whatever his name is, in there. Because, Buttigieg. They might try to put him in there because they don't want Bernie. And they're looking at Joe decline every day. They wanted Joe from the beginning, but he may not be a viable candidate. So they may put.
No, I don't think any of them are. I mean, Buttigieg, he's got the fundraising, but the problem is, and this is no secret, he has zero support from the African American community.
Yes.
And once you go below the Mason-Dixon line, it's over.
Yeah.
And Joe Biden, he has the support down there, but his fundraising is just awful. He's not. People do not, right now at least, they just do not have they think he's going to choke. And you're right. Like, every day this guy opens his mouth, people just get more nervous. And Bernie has the money, Buttigieg has the money, but quite frankly, I don't know how viable. Oh, I mean, if you watch the debate when Amy Klobuchar, everybody on the stage, they asked, are you afraid of having a Democratic socialist as a president? And nobody raised their hands except for Amy Klobuchar.
Right.
It's amazing. How can, and nobody else is a Democratic socialist up there. They're all afraid of Bernie. They're all afraid of saying the wrong thing. And this is why the Democratic Party is in shambles right now. They really need to nuke it from orbit and start from scratch.
Yeah, they do.
Really do. Look, I'm going to no, go ahead. What are you saying?
So now, yeah, they do, because what they're doing right now is not going to work, because really whoever the front runner is doesn't really matter, because nobody has a chance. It's just, they're just playing to come in second at this particular point. It's just a matter of how badly do you want to lose. That's all.
Well, I mean, look, Bernie's looking strong right now. He practically did win Iowa, and he's going to win New Hampshire. If he doesn't win New Hampshire, if he comes in second in New Hampshire, it's done. But he has to do well because New Hampshire borders Vermont, his home state.
Yeah.
So I think Tulsi Gabbard's going to actually do better than expected up there. She's been really campaigning hard, and she's very far on the left. She had a Green New Deal before AOC ever did. So, but I like a lot of her policies, and at least she's honest, and that's what I like about her. And not that I wouldn't vote for her against Trump. I mean, that'll never happen. Trump is that State of the Union speech was just one of the best speeches I've ever seen in my life as far as politics go. It was unbelievable.
Oh, it was great. He hit on all the points I want him to hit on. But the main thing for me was all the guests that he had. Bringing Rush out there. I had like a little Indian tear in the corner of my eye. Having a little girl, having a little girl get the scholarship. The people he brought out.
That was so nice.
It was great. It was just an overall very well done speech.
Oh, it was well crafted. He didn't say anything about impeachment.
Yes.
And he said a couple things that was basically like, look, I'm here. We need to work together. If you want to get anything done, you got to work together. And that's, as opposed to Bernie Sanders, who his stuff won't work unless he keeps calling for a revolution. And if he goes in, if he wins the presidency, which is just scary, he'll get nothing done. But the only way he can get things done is if progressive Democrats challenge establishment Democrats, which is what AOC did. She challenged the fourth most powerful Democrat in all of Congress. And when I say powerful, I mean fundraising.
Yeah.
So
right.
The only way that Bernie can get anything done is if, and this is the thing the other day. I don't know if you saw this, but AOC was saying that she's not giving money to the DCCC, which is you basically all these Congress people, they have to give money. They have to give, I think it's $200,000. They have to raise $200,000 for the DCCC. And she's like, I'm not doing that. Fuck you.
Wow.
and everybody's complaining about. Oh, I'm sorry, I cursed.
Oh no, you good. I was talking about what she said.
But she said, well, I've raised over, $300,000 for progressive candidates, so I'm doing my part. It's like, no, you're supposed to give money to the DCCC and then they shell it out. You're not supposed to pick and choose. So she's playing by her own rules. And
right.
This is going to hurt her. This is going to hurt her in Congress in the next term. They might say, look, those subcommittee assignments you have, gone. You're not on finance committee anymore because you're not playing by our rules. So she's just out of control. And it's people like her and Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and Bernie Sanders who are just pushing the party so far left. And all these young voters this is what they want. And everybody else who's above 25 is like, no, this isn't real life. Right. You're not going to be able to pass any of these things, But look, I'm going to let you go. I've been going on, but you're the best. I've been a fan for a while. You definitely inspire me. So, maybe we can chat off, offline sometime, but, I will, everybody, hello. And, just peace out. Thanks so much. I really appreciate everything that you do. You really do inspire me as a YouTuber. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for that, man. I appreciate you for calling in. But before you go, tell everybody how to get in contact with you, what your channel is, all that good stuff. And I'll put a link to your channel in the chat so they can go ahead and subscribe to you right now.
Thank you so much. Everybody should know me because I'm the most popular senior political analyst on YouTube. No, I'm kidding. But it's Don't Walk Around Productions, and find me on YouTube. And I do a lot of politics, and you know, a lot of, I'm pretty even-handed. You know, if the DNC does something good, I'll call it out. You know, I'm not like hateful on every single thing. Andrew Yang, though, he's my whipping boy, man. You know, he's with the Yang gang. They're like, we're going to surprise you in Iowa. It's like he got 1% in Iowa.
Yeah, it's not 1%. Very good at all.
No, and Tulsi Gabbard's actually going to beat him in New Hampshire, which is really funny.
That's crazy.
You know, like Yang. Yeah, and then even during the debate, they asked him about racism, and he goes, "Oh, we need to put $1,000 in blacks and Latinos' hands." Like, are you out of your mind? Stop trying to show your stupid freedom dividend and say that it's the
end all be all, the panacea to all problems. Coronavirus. Well, UBI. How about that? It'll fix it.
No, it's true. It's true. I feel like going, well, how do we solve our problems with China? It's like, oh, well, $1,000 a month. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, every time he gets a chance to talk about UBI, and when he says that Martin Luther King was for UBI, like, no, he wasn't. Right. You think he wanted to give rich whitey $1,000 a month? He wanted to give it to the poor and the black community. He didn't want. He wanted to make sure that every single person could, you know, who was below the poverty line, could actually, quote unquote, pull them up by their have the government pull them up by their bootstraps, I guess. But he didn't want to give everybody UBI. That's ridiculous. And for Yang to keep saying that, to keep pushing that, he's a scam artist. He's a freaking scam artist, and everybody can see through that because, again, 1% in Iowa. That's all I gotta say about that.
That's right, man. Well, hey, man, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you, really. You know, I hope to be in touch with you again. And everybody, thanks for tuning into to Anthony Brian Logan's live stream. You know, I catch him, but I've never called, and I rarely go into chat. But you know, when I'm doing work and stuff, I tend to watch you. So again, I can't say enough. I'm a big fan. If you can't tell.
All right, now take care.
All right, man. Yeah, bye. Thank you.
All right, now. All right. So shout out to the caller. I got his channel in the box. That was Don't Walk, Run Productions. That'll be right there. So I'm out of time. Thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. Again, this show will be available as an audio-only podcast on most streaming platforms. It'll be Spotify. Right now it's available Spotify and Anchor FM. Then it'll be Apple and Stitcher and other platforms. It'll be totally free, of course. This show will still be on the same time, same place, Wednesday and Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. But the Saturday show will go up as an audio-only podcast for 1,000% free on all those audio platforms on Monday morning. And then the Wednesday show will go up Friday morning. There is a link in the description box to the podcast. It will be in every video, so you can go straight there, subscribe to it. It'll just be the live shows, the 3-hour shows, as an audio-only podcast over on those platforms. So a lot of you guys have been asking for that. You're saying, hey, I need the audio only. You know, the bandwidth is killing me. There you have it. So be on the lookout for that. And I got to go ahead and wrap the show on up, put a bow on the top. Thank y'all for joining. I'm most certainly appreciate you. If you were not able to get online, and I'm sorry, try to call in next time. I'll try to get you on. And shout out to the super chatters that I have not read yet. I'm gonna read you guys right quick, and thank y'all again for super chatting. Shout out to Chief Rocco, who says peace ABL. Thank you for that. Deep Statey State says Cali residents, please mail Newsom recall petitions to your local precinct office. 14 cents to print at Office Depot. See rainf.org for info. Thank you for that. Thank you to Jake C, who says, love you, ABL. Keep speaking the truth. Will do. And thank you for your very kind words and your donation. I think I might have already read that, but it's all good. I'll read it again. Shout out to Matt, who says, release all rapists convicted with less evidence. It depends on the situation. You know, if you are able to see that they did not do something, if you're able to exonerate them like others have been, then go ahead and do that. But thank you for your donation. Shout out to Craig Ludlow, who says Stalinist synonyms, Nazism, communism, socialism, globalism, all the same. There you go. Boom. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to my man Killer 99, who says Bloomberg stood in front of a crowd and bragged the New York City police force was his army. He said that since his army was the 7th largest in the world, he was ready to be commander-in-chief. Dictator in the making. Hey, it seems kind of dictator-ish, if not outright dictator-like. But thank you for your donation. Shout out to Joseph Stanley, who says, great job. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you for your very kind words and your donation. And shout out to my man Ansel, who says, this donation is for the purchase of MSNPC Small Women's Comfort Tea to be sent to Michelle A via T-Pain. The balance of the donation is for you. All right, I got you. Don't even worry about it. I'm gonna go ahead and get on that right now. If possible, Michelle, you know how to contact me, and we'll go ahead and make that happen. Matter of fact, I think I already sent something, so we'll work it out. But thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. And that's pretty much all I got for tonight. Thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. I'll be back live again on Wednesday with another live show, 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. And shout out to my man, Don't Walk, Run Productions, who says, thanks again for letting me ramble. Big fan. Oh, it's all good, man. Thank you for calling in and your donation. And we're going to talk again, man. Do a live stream or something or a show, whatever it is, man. For sure. All right. That's all I got. Thank y'all for joining. It's been fun. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.